and Training. The probe found that Nkabinde failed to exercise proper oversight in the appointment of the Sector Education and Training Authority board chairs and allowed her advisor to handle the recruitment and selection panel process. Nkabinde, or Nkabane rather, also appointed ANC-linked individuals as chairs of the SETA boards, including Gwede Mantashe's son. In July last year, President Cyril Ramaphosa fired her. Dimakatso Leshoro has more.
The Joint Committee on Ethics and Members' Interest expanded the scope of its investigation beyond the initial allegations and has determined that Nobuhle Nkabane did not follow up on whether the panel had been properly appointed, resulting in irregularities that undermined governance processes. But over and above this, it found that she lied to Parliament about the role of an advisory structure she claimed was responsible for selecting candidates. After her appearance in Parliament, some of the members she claimed were on the advisory board, including Advocate Terry Mutau, distanced themselves from the process. Nkabane blamed her advisor Asisipo Solane for the failures. She was subsequently fired by President Cyril Ramaphosa. She has since been appointed as ANC's Deputy Chief Whip in Parliament. The committee concluded that her conduct fell short of the standards expected of members of the executive. Dimakatso Leshoro, Eyewitness News.
The Madlanga Commission of Inquiry is going into recess for 3 weeks. The commission held its last hearing today and will resume on the 7th of April. The commission began its work in September last year, looking into possible criminal infiltration into the country's law enforcement system. To date, 49 witnesses have testified and it has produced one interim report. The Commission spokesperson, Jeremy Michaels.
I think also important for us to say that we are encouraged by the fact that quite a number of people, individuals, are still coming forward with information, providing the Commission with information and assisting the Commission in achieving its mandate.
Corruption, a rising cost of living and unemployment have been identified as contributing factors to the rapid decline in public trust in democracy. The Human Sciences Research Council and the IEC released their latest study today, which measures voter sentiment ahead of the upcoming local government elections. Among the key findings is that majority of South Africans no longer have confidence in democracy to change their lives, with only 36% of participants expressing trust. The latest study was conducted through face-to-face interviews with citizens aged 16 years and older across all provinces in the country. The Council's Research Director, Robert Ben, says most adult citizens are dissatisfied with the country's economic situation.
You can see that between 73 and 82% said that over the last 5 years, corruption, cost of living and inflationary pressure, unemployment, crime and safety have indeed worsened. In the case of service delivery, it's slightly less acute, surprisingly. So it's about 59% say it got worse in the last 5 years, with the biggest segment saying it's remained unchanged.
In the Western Cape, government says it's concerned but not panicking about the strained water supply in the Garden Route. Dam levels in the Goiritz River catchment area, which includes the Little Karoo, Central Karoo and coastal areas, are currently at just over 51%. The Knysna local municipality has been hardest hit, with the Akkerkloof Dam sitting at around 26%. However, officials say they do not expect a day zero scenario. Mtutuzelo Nene has more.
Provincial Water and Sanitation Head Ntombizanele Bila Mupariwa says work is underway to stabilize the water supply in Knysna. This includes the installation of boreholes and pumping water from other sources to support the Akkerkloof Dam. A water specialist has also been appointed to assist the municipality in dealing with its ongoing water challenges.
All spheres of government are holding hands. The Department of Water and Sanitation is supporting the municipality to augment the current water security.
Meanwhile, dam levels across the Western Cape are now sitting at around 49%, a significant drop from more than 65% recorded during the same period last year. Ndutuzelo Nene, Eyewitness News.
And Japan is set to release another part of its strategic oil reserves from Thursday and will tap into joint stockpiles held by producing nations in the country by the end of the month. The announcement comes after Tokyo started releasing 15 days' worth of private sector petroleum reserves last week. Previously, government said that a month's worth of public stockpiles would also be released. Japan depends on the Middle East for 95% of its oil imports. Its strategic oil reserves are among the world's largest and stood at more than 400 million barrels as of December. Gold is trading at $4,380.50 an ounce. The rand is at 17.07 to the dollar, 22.87 to the pound, 19.78 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $102.88 a barrel.
Faulty traffic lights in North Riding at Belez and Malibongo Drive. There's also traffic lights not working in Kyalami at Kenilworth and Kyalami Boulevard, as well as in Santon at Grayston and the M1.
In your sport, Brazil and Argentina inquire about playing Bafana Bafana. Proteas women looking to finish their T20 series against New Zealand on a positive note. And Yannick Sinner surpasses Novak Djokovic's Masters 1000 record.
A cloudy Tuesday in store for Gauteng with scattered afternoon showers and thundershowers expected. Temperatures will peak at highs of between 22 and 24 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour, former Higher Education Minister Nobuhle Nkabane has been found guilty of gross misconduct by Parliament's Ethics Committee after it determined she misled lawmakers and breached the Executive Code of Ethics.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
702
Live
on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856
92.7
and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
8 minutes after 3 o'clock. Thanks very much for joining us. 702 Drive with John Perlman is proudly brought to you by Telkom Business. Possible begins here. Good afternoon. Always great having you with us, and I'm hoping that today it will be the same. The team has lined up and the show is sizzling hot. We have a number of issues to go through, matters to discuss, and arguments to have between now and 6 o'clock. We will look at the Portfolio Committee briefing by Basic Minister of Education, Siviwe Gaokwagube, on allegations of irregularities in the appointment process for filling the position of Chief Director for Media Liaison and Provincial Communications at the Department of Basic Education. Baba Lwandenze will speak to us on that matter. And we have, of course, as we've said before, 34 schools in Gauteng that failed the safety assessment. How safe are your children at school? And much later on, Madlanga Commission will take a bit of a zoom into it. Thabiso Goba from EWN will speak to us. All that and much, much more between now and 6 o'clock. And of course, you are the main ingredient. 9 after 3. Good afternoon.
702
Let's walk the talk on 92.7
and 106 FM.
Indeed, the team is all here. Garabo Chali will tell us what's happening on the roads and keep us posted with the traffic lights that are not working, routes that you need to consider as alternatives, and the highways, the byways, how the traffic flows. And Garabo Malapile presses the buttons, makes me sound well, connects both the two of us, and creates a seamless communication stream. Jonathan Fairbairn Kabazela is also here. He cooks the storm behind the scenes and looks at content, ably working with Refuah Matsuala. Refuah, I hope you're fine. I hope you're good. And you want to say something. Okay. Refuah was indicating to me that she wanted to say something. But that's the team. But of course, without you, the team is not complete. Good afternoon and welcome to the show. Guys, I hope you're well. Garabo, you good?
I'm all good, sir. And you?
All good, all good. And Refuah, you good?
Good afternoon, Tavo, and to the rest of the 702 family. Just a quick point.
Yeah.
Let's fix my surname. Letsoa. Say it after me.
I said Letsoa.
You said Matsoa.
I said Letsoa.
No, Chief, I heard you.
We can play it back on slow motion.
Prodigal son, please respect
on
that surname.
slow motion.
Nah.
Letsoa.
Wonderful.
Are you good?
Wonderful, Prodigal son. How are you doing today?
Okay, now I can be called Prodigal Son
Love
after
it.
correcting that. Now, anyway, great having you with us, guys, and the show is about to begin. Now, I just wanted your view on something. There have been a couple of studies that show that individuals who prefer to buy expensive clothes have got a self-esteem issue. And some people are saying that's not right at all. I can wear whatever I like. It's my money, and it's got very little bearing on my
my psyche as a human being and my well-being as a person. The phenomenon of wearing expensive clothes. Do you wear expensive clothes, Refuwe? And do you look down on people who do? Do you think that they're making up for something that is missing?
Okay. Also, what's expensive to you? When you say expensive clothes, what do you mean?
Okay, maybe you're
So that
quite
give
right.
us context,
You're
yes.
right. You're right. I mean, Thabo Bester today pitched in court wearing Louis Vuitton shirt. As Relebohile said, he could have worn a Woolies shirt, a black shirt, and I suppose we wouldn't even have noticed. But he chose Louis Vuitton. He chose brands and labels that are considered to be opulent. So that's what I mean by expensive.
Okay.
Opulent brands.
Let me start by saying, do you, boo? And for me, it's like, all right, if you're going to buy expensive clothes, that's fine, Chief. That's okay. Enjoy your life, YOLO. But my issue always comes in where you're going to brag and say, my outfit is 50,000 Rand. You're telling me unprovoked, Thabo. I didn't ask.
Yeah.
I didn't ask. And you're out here acting brand new. For me, it's like, spend your money as you are, but also, you don't need to tell us that it's expensive. You know, my mom always used to say to me, it's like, you can look expensive without having to break the bank. And a lot of the time, some of these guys that are buying expensive brands, the kids don't even have trust funds. Things happen to them, they die.
Yeah.
Crash hasn't been paid for. I remember I saw a video the other day on the socials where this guy is in a shoe shop with his daughter. I think his daughter was like in preschool or something. And I think he'd spent like 70K on a pair of shoes. And then he says to his child, oh, Nana, this month we're not going to pay your school fees. And my thing is like, okay.
Yeah.
But you know, at the end of the day, it's your money. Do whatever you want to do with it. Enjoy it.
Sure.
But don't come tell us, oh, no, this is 50,000 Rand. Respect. We don't need that.
Yeah, but then
that
I mean,
makes me wonder.
to what extent does a beautiful outfit affect your mood for a day, and also send a strong statement about who you are?
I'll tell you one thing. I buy expensive, not all the time, but when I buy expensive clothing, I honestly feel more confident.
Okay.
Yeah, alala.
You
There
know
we
what I
go.
mean? And obviously it's comfortable, so yeah, and feels nice on me. But I usually don't brag, so that's where, like Refuwe was saying.
Yeah, no, bragging is another thing. We're just talking about expensive clothes. What statement do they send?
No, for me, I just feel more confident. It's not about you. It's not about how people see me. It's just about how I carry myself on that day.
Are you making up for something that you're lacking?
Not at all. Not at all.
Is it a self-esteem issue that you prefer expensive clothes as opposed to a no-name brand that looks exactly the same, except for that little bit of labeling?
But if you feel like when you're wearing labeled clothes, the quality just feels so different.
Feels like a warm hug.
Yeah, I mean, you can wear a jean from a normal store and then wear one from let me just give you an example, Diesel jeans. Wow. When you wear them, you can feel that I'm wearing quality jeans.
Yeah.
And
But also, if you look at it, I feel like when you dress nicely, you feel good.
Yes.
You feel like you're on top of the world. I can do this. So there is a positive element to it where you just feel like, Arrowment was sprinkled on your eggs this morning and you just feel like I'm on top of the world.
I also think that there's a bit of hate from people perhaps who cannot as yet afford expensive clothes. I mean, we're jealous of Thabo Bester's clothes.
When we say we, can we fix that? Don't put me in the we. I don't know, Karabo, do you want to sit in the we?
No, definitely.
I'm just going to keep quiet.
Okay, I'm just saying.
I'm just going to keep quiet. I thought maybe let me just... No, but are you not jealous of the guy and many other people? Are we not... I mean, you were speaking earlier on and saying some people want to boast and whatever else. Is it you not perhaps projecting? Are you not jealous? Maybe the guy does not even think that the clothes are all that and more, but you're like, oh, look at you.
Why are you, as the wearer of the clothes, telling me how much it is unprovoked? Let me be the one to say, Thabo, those shoes are nice. Hey, what's the damage? That's different. But if you're walking in, hey, please respect these shoes. These are 50K. No one is saying, touch me on my studio. Now you want us to touch you on your studio. Come now.
Well, the question to you listening to us is that expensive clothes, do they add value to your life? Why are so many people aspiring to buy expensive clothes? And expensive clothes, does it mean that you're stylish? Does it mean that you're fashionable? Does it say anything about you at all? Well, man-made clothes Clothes don't make men, some would say. 16 minutes after 3 o'clock. Let us know. I want to hear your views on 072 702 1702. Karabo Chali will soon tell us what's happening on the road. 17 after 3.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by South African Airways. See just how far you can go with them. Book at flysaa.com now. Mr. Charlie, the roads, how do they look?
Well, not looking too bad at all. It remains pretty quiet at this stage in 702 land. No accidents have been reported. However, look out for those faulty traffic lights in North Riding at Belez and Malibongo Drive. Those will certainly cause some delays. The afternoon progresses. There's also faulty traffic lights in Kyalami at Kenilworth and Kyalami Boulevard. In Santon, traffic lights out of order at Greyston and the M1. If you come across any other traffic issues, kindly WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. This is what progress sounds like. At South African Airways, we've added more aircraft to the runway, increased our flights from just over 1,000 in 2021 to over 24,000 last year. And we continue to add more destinations and routes. It's steady progress over time. We know there's still work to do, but every day we're building something stronger. An airline that shares the resilience of the country it carries. South African Airways. Book your next flight at flysaa.com today.
Clement Maniatella.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
When you say that if they strike our power plants, there will be consequences, are we talking more about just the economic consequences, or are we now talking the Gulf countries neighboring you may also be targeted?
Clement, the consequences that I'm talking about is the principle of eye for eye. If our power plants has been under strike, so for sure, as our military commanders told, the assets of United States and the Zionist regime will be targeted. Also, the power plants in occupied lands will be targeted.
Dr. Hamidreza Orai, who speaks on behalf of the Iranian embassy.
Clements Maniatella.
9 to 12 on 702.
On the go and your stomach suddenly not keeping up? That burn, bloating or reflux could be symptoms of an ulcer. Stress can make it feel even worse. Arsenic offers triple action relief by coating your stomach lining with a protective layer and works for up to 6 hours. No prescription needed. Choose between suspension tablets or effervescent tablets. Keep an eye on the shelf for arsenic new packaging. A fresh new look outside, same trusted relief on the inside. Visit the Arsenic Facebook page for more.
To live wealthier, you need to be able to grow your assets. At Standard Bank Private, you get a team of internationally acclaimed financial experts to advise you on local and global investment strategies. Plus, being with a leader in home loans, you can start expanding your property portfolio. So, come live wealthier with Africa's best private bank. Apply online at standardbank.co.za. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Did you know that you are entitled to buy a new, demo, or used car without a service or a maintenance plan? You can also use an independent workshop for all servicing and maintenance needs without your warranty being automatically voided. Independent workshops are entitled to all technical info and parts needed to work on your vehicle, so you can shop around for the best price and service. Right to Repair. It's your choice. Visit righttorepair.org.za.
702 podcast
on primemediaplus.com.
20 minutes after 3 o'clock, you might have heard in EWN a little bit earlier that members of Parliament's basic education portfolio have questioned Minister Siviwe Gwahube over claims of cadre deployment in her filling the key position in her department. And some committee members from the African National Congress said that Gwahube intervened in the shortlisting of a candidate for the position of Deputy Director General responsible for curriculum. But Gwahube dismissed the claim, saying no qualified candidate has been excluded from the process, which is still going on. Baba Londenze joins us right now to help us understand the story far better than we do. Babalo, thank you so much for your time. Welcome. I hope you're well.
Yes, thanks, Thabo. I'm good. How are you?
I'm well, thank you so much. And this position is very critical. And before perhaps we get to the merits of the issue, Babalo, it's important also to reflect on the fact that it's when the Deputy Director General and the Minister works together, including with the Director General, I suppose, it makes their work far easier. And this position is very strategic. So Siviwe Kwahube would want to have someone in that position with whom they see eye to eye.
Yes, but not only that, Thabo, she said during the meeting that, it's a critical position and requires a special skill set. And, the position has to be filled by someone who meets the criteria. And those who are removed from the shortlist, lacked this skill or this experience. And, the person that she recommended is not someone that's guaranteed to get the position, but they meet all the requirements. And she says that the person that she recommended, she does not know who they are, has never met them. She denied that they are a member of the DA, as some people have claimed, but it is a key position. And they say that, if they can't find anyone, that's how critical it is. They'll have to, find an acting DDG to sit in the position. I think currently there is an acting person there because they haven't been able to find anyone since, the current administration started about 2 years ago. So it is a key position. And, members of the ANC have made themselves clear in the committee that they want to get an explanation, if they actually want a legal opinion as well, on, the powers of the minister in intervening on the shortlist and deciding, this person might not be suitable. Let's reconsider her inclusion or his inclusion in the shortlist. But she's adamant that she didn't break any laws, that she followed every law that's applicable in this instance.
Interesting choice of words. The ANC pulls from its own nomenclature, calling this cadre deployment in filling this key position. What precipitates, if you will, Babalo, these claims from the ANC? Did they proffer any proof at all, any evidence pointing to the effect that there is an unholy link between the minister and the candidate preferred?
No, they did not, provide any proof that there's a link between the minister. And it was an interesting choice of words. It's quite ironic that the ANC would use this kind of, term to describe a shortlisting of a candidate, because it's a phrase that's, been used mostly on ANC processes. So, that was, a bit of the irony. And it was not just the ANC who did ask her this. Another member of the DA did try to get the minister to answer this or, deny the claim or to reject the claim. And, the real that came from the ANC was that the minister knows this person. And that's why this person was shortlisted. And this person may have links to the DA, which according to the ANC would, constitute cadre deployment. But we also, note that another development is that, the minister has, asked for an investigation into this claim or Jobs for Comrades scheme, which is basically what's happening at the moment. And she says that, this SIU investigation will hopefully look into these appointments and how these names are shortlisted and whether any officials, form part of any secret political meetings. Because the argument on her side is that the ANC rather wants, a candidate that they like to be part of this or to be the DDG. There have been names bandied about of certain people that were shortlisted, from the ANC who are no longer on the shortlist. So what I've heard from the members of the minister's staff is that, in fact, ANC members are quite disgruntled because one of their favored, people has not been chosen or has not been shortlisted. So it does seem like a political fight between the minister and the members of the committee from the different parties. I know that some members of her party, the DA, which is a GNU member, have tried to come to her defense during the committee. And they were accused at some point, by ANC MPs of trying to be the minister's lawyer instead of being a member of the committee. So there are differences along political lines, definitely, in this appointment.
And this wouldn't necessarily be a storm in a teacup, so to speak, Babalo, because this position, as I said, very strategic. And as someone from any political background, you would want to have the ear on dispensing curriculum that has now been part of the policy of the government, and how it's implemented matters most. And this person would just generally be boss of curriculum in South Africa.
Yes, indeed. In fact, another point that she did emphasize at the meeting is that, being the head of curriculum is basically being, one of the main officials within the department. Curriculum is really a core function of the basic education department. So curriculum, if one would rank these deputy director generals, you would have to put the DDG for curriculum at the top of this pile, and it would be a strategic, appointment. And that person would obviously have to see eye to eye with the minister and the current administration and her ministry and her department, in general. So it is definitely something that the minister would have an interest in. That's why I guess she is or has involved herself to a certain extent in the process. So definitely it's one to watch closely on who eventually gets appointed to this. But the minister says let's not rush into this decision. It's a cabinet decision at the end of the day. So the cabinet will have to decide on who gets that DDG appointment. And I imagine the cabinet will announce that at a cabinet briefing when that does happen at whatever point during the year. So I definitely want to watch, and the minister will be speaking more on this at some stage as well, because the committee has, requested this legal advice, which we'll expect to hear maybe at the next portfolio committee meeting.
Giving us insight on the story is Babalo Ndenze of EWN, 28 minutes after 3. Thanks, Babalo.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by South African Airways. Get all-inclusive fares, your seat, your meal, and your baggage. It's all in. Book at flysaa.com. Mr. Charlie, what's happening on our roads?
Well, at this stage, not looking too bad on our roads. At this stage, no accidents have been reported. However, traffic is already backing up, leaving the Sandton area on Catherine Street, as well as Greyston Drive. Look out for those faulty traffic lights in Sandton at Greyston and the M1. There's also faulty traffic lights in Linksfield at Linksfield Road and the N3. If you come across any other traffic issues, kindly WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. This is what progress sounds like. At South African Airways, we've added more aircraft to the runway, increased our flights from just over 1,000 in 2021 to over 24,000 last year. And we continue to add more destinations and routes. It's steady progress over time. We know there's still work to do, but every day we're building something stronger. An airline that shares the resilience of the country it carries. South African Airways. Book your next flight at flysaa.com today. Let's walk the talk.
702.
702 indeed. Much later on, we'd like to bring your attention to a very interesting story. At least I thought it was quite interesting. There was an employee who was let go, fired if you will, dismissed, because they did not report to a proper line of management about their sick leave. This person became sick out of nowhere, and they had a sick note, but they were still dismissed despite presenting a sick note to the employer. What went wrong? All that and more just a little bit later on. But for now, exactly 3:30. Mongezi Koko standing by with Eyewitness News headlines. Good afternoon, Mongezi. What's the latest? Welcome.
That's right, Tabo. Very good afternoon to you. Members of Parliament's Basic Education Portfolio Committee have questioned Minister Siviwe Gwakhube over claims of cadre deployment in the filling of key positions within her department. Some committee members from the ANC say Gwakhube intervened in the shortlisting of a candidate for the position of Deputy Director General responsible for curriculum. But Gwakhube has dismissed the claims, saying no qualified candidate has been excluded from the process, which is still ongoing. Babalo Ndenze has more.
Today's Portfolio Committee meeting was to discuss the shortlisting of people to fill key positions in the department. This follows reports that Gwakhube intervened in the recruitment process and whether she had any links to the individual who was ultimately shortlisted for Deputy Director General for Curriculum. Committee Chairperson Joy Maimela.
And there was a clear instruction from the minister that the second person must actually be recommended. Although that second person, and we wanted to understand, because the allegation is that is cadre deployment.
But Gwakhube says she did everything within the bounds of the law and has no knowledge of the person that was recommended.
I want to state on the record that, one, I have never met the individual that I have recommended. I have never heard of her before they applied. I don't know this individual.
Maimela says the committee will now get legal advice on the matter before formulating a position. Babalo Ndenza, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
Residents living in Tladi Camp Informal Settlement have welcomed the demolition of property obstructing the installation of an electric transformer. The Soweto community has been living without electricity for over 30 years now. Joburg's Human Settlements Department led the demolition today as part of efforts to formalize the informal area. Jabuli Limbata has more.
Residents were ululating and singing as the TLB broke down the brick-and-mortar structure that was once the home of a family. The grandson of the rightful owner of the house was among the residents who were celebrating, saying the house had been the subject of a family dispute since 2011 after his grandfather died. He says the city provided alternative accommodation for them, but his grandmother secretly rented out the house before the city could demolish it. She was locked in a court battle for about 5 years, but this year she lost the fight and was issued the eviction notice. The grandson says he is happy the matter has been concluded.
I am happy to see this progress because the residents here have been waiting for a long time, and the hindrance was one person, so we are relieved.
Joburg MMC for Human Settlements Mlungisi Mabaso says they can now begin their work.
In 2 consecutive financial years, the budget was made available for the electrification. Then ESCOM came back to us to say, you see, City of Johannesburg, we are not going to allocate funds for this project until you demolish the structure.
At the time of the demolition, the property was empty. Jabuli Lembata, Eyewitness News, Soweto.
No plea deal has been reached between the state and the defense in the case against Bellarmine Mugabe and his co-accused, the son of late former Zimbabwean President Robert Mugabe, and his co-accused Tobias Matonze returned to the Alexandra Magistrates Court this morning. The matter was postponed to April 17th for further investigations. Now, Mugabe and Matonze were arrested in connection with the shooting of an employee at the Hyde Park home last month. The pair are facing 7 charges, including contravening the Immigration Act, attempted murder, defeating the ends of justice, and the illegal possession of a firearm. Defense lawyer Snenhlanhla Mnguni.
I think necessarily unhappy. I just think we haven't found each other as much as we would have liked at this point. I know that you said that yet another postponement, but I think you would have noted from the words of the magistrate that they have marked this as a final postponement for the parties to obviously finalize their negotiations, but also for the state to conclude its negotiations. We've always conducted ourselves in good faith.
And in China, nearly 180,000 BMW vehicles have been recalled due to a wiring fault in air conditioning units. This comes and includes 45,000 imported 5 Series, 7 Series and M5 vehicles produced between June of 2022 and April of 2025. The country's market regulator says the wiring fault poses a fire risk. According to reports, BMW will inspect and re-secure the air conditioning wiring harness for the alleged and recalled vehicles free of charge. A partly cloudy Wednesday in store for Gauteng tomorrow, with isolated showers and thundershowers expected. Lows of between 16 and 18 degrees and highs of between 25 and 27.
Well, at this stage, traffic lights not working in North Riding at Belez and Malibongo Drive. Also, faulty traffic lights in Sandton at Grayston and the M1.
The top story in EWN, members of Parliament's Basic Education Portfolio Committee have questioned Minister Siviwe Gwarube over claims of cadre deployment in the filling of key positions within her department.
Bongani Bingwa, 702 Breakfast.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9.
The 35-year-old woman believed to be a lawyer was gunned point-blank range outside the CCMA at the corner of Fox and Joubert streets. The gunman, witnesses say, simply walked up to her as she stepped out of her vehicle and fired the shots, walked away and disappeared into the crowd. The killers, it would seem, are no longer hiding. What's behind this growing trend of business killings? Mike Bolhuis, who's behind it, do you think?
This is a clear, typical hit. It's a consideration, contemplation, planned and executed scenario. This is a deduction case. It's actually an easy case. You will be able to find out who is the instruction giver here.
Bongani Bingwa, 6 to 9.
On 702.
For Mamotsatsi and Kensani of Design News, a beautiful room starts with a rock-solid connection. Tell us what was slowing down your growth.
It would have to be slow network coverage.
Now, Telkom Business Fiber lets the team process large renders while the landline keeps supplier calls coming in.
Get Call Light Fiber from 655 Rand per month and unlimited VoIP 1 from 99 Rand per month. Call 10213 or click telkom.co.za. T's and C's apply. Telkom Business. Possible begins here.
Zakes owns an electrical business that lit up the neighborhood. Literally. One small spark, one big legal nightmare. But he has public liability insurance from Budget. The damage was covered and his client sorted. Sharp. To get public liability cover, visit budgetinsurance.co.za. Budget Insurance, official insurer for good South Africans. Budget is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's and C's online.
Looking for a new ride this Easter? Get the new Polo Vivo 1.4 Life from Barron's Volkswagen with a full basket of extras from only 3,490, including a 3-year full maintenance plan, alloy wheels, parking package, and rear view camera. That's right, all of this for only 3,490 per month. Hop on down to Barron's Woodmead or Barron's Broomer today to take advantage of this excellent deal. Barron's, the Volkswagen people.
702. WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
Yeah, I agree. We buy expensive stuff to feel confident about ourselves, and it's not because you are lacking anything. I feel as confident wearing cheaper clothes, but when I'm wearing the clothes that I worked hard for, those expensive ones, the confidence is another level. Maybe it's because when I grew up, I've always wanted to have expensive clothes, but I couldn't afford them. But now that I can, I'm going to do it. Yeah. And I also won't tell anyone about how much my outfit costs. Sure. I feel like those who do that, they are the ones who are lacking some sort of confidence, insecurity vibes.
Sohail Gubane from Ridgeway here. Another trend that I've really been seeing, it's quite a big thing nowadays, is obviously now the parents. Now, how is it that you take your child to a school that you cannot afford? Like, for example, you'll take your child to JP's Boys High School, but you're a cashier at ShopRite. I'm just curious. No, it's quite a thing nowadays.
Hi, Tabo. The two just proved you right. They're all talking about being confident after wearing expensive clothes. That's exactly what the research says.
Yeah, very interesting. If you've just joined us, welcome. You're on 702. John is not here. My name is Thabo Sholemashao, and those voice notes were reflecting on a topic that we raised a little bit earlier around expensive clothes, brands, and opulent clothing, apparel, and everything else that you are wearing. And we just wanted to find out from you. What do you make of it when people wear expensive clothes? Why do people do that? We're not questioning your choice. Wear whatever you want to wear. It's your money. Your monkeys, your circus, do your thing. That's just that. So, but we just trying to find the reasoning behind it. Is it because there's a need to belong? Or you're trying to communicate a certain message to your peers that you are at a certain bracket of incomes? Or is it perhaps a confidence issue? It's about you working on yourself and you feel confident when you're wearing expensive clothes. Are you filling a gap, a void in your life that is missing? Or are we just making too much of this? That shirt looked very nice. You saw it. It was 15,000 rands and you thought, why shouldn't I buy it? I like it, I can afford it, and I'll buy it. Or perhaps even if you can't afford it, you'll say, I want it, I buy it, I'll make a plan. I'll see what comes tomorrow. So if you want to weigh in on that discussion, you're most welcome to do so on 011-883-0702. That's the number to use to call us. If you'd like to send a short voice note, please use this number, 072-702-1702, 19 minutes to 4.
EWN Sport.
An expensive sports bulletin by Tholakele Mganga coming up. Tholakele, I hope you're well.
Thanks so much, Tabo. And Hugo Bruch has revealed that Bafana Bafana's recent rise in positive results has resulted in inquiries from the bigger footballing nations wanting to play friendly games against them. His comments come ahead of South Africa's back-to-back clashes against Panama at the Moses Mabhida and Cape Town Stadium, respectively. And along with playing against the Red Tide, there's been interest from fellow South American sides to play against Bafana.
So Lydia, the CEO, told me, yes, Brazil want to play against us. I said, oh, very good, why not, in May? Yeah, they asked $5 million to come. A few months ago, Argentina want to play also in Johannesburg against us. €5 million. You understand? It's easy to say, why not that, why not that? So Panama is not coming free either. You have to pay also.
The Proteas women will be playing for pride against New Zealand in their fifth and final T20 on Wednesday morning. The White Ferns have already won the series thanks to their 3-1 lead, while all-rounder Nadine de Klerk says South Africa are determined to finish with a satisfactory performance and result.
Obviously, the series is lost, but I think there's still so much to play for in this last game. And I think, we were just outplayed in all three assets, really, in the last couple of games. We just couldn't put up the runs on the board and then really struggled, I think, with the ball as well. We've tried a few different plans, a few different batting orders as well, to try a few different combinations. So I think we just haven't quite nailed as well as we wanted to. So hopefully we can finish on a high in tomorrow's game.
For Shukri Conrad, he believes there's been value in their ongoing T20 series against New Zealand, despite both sides playing weakened teams. Both teams have had to select inexperienced sides, with the games taking place after the T20 World Cup and before the start of the IPL this weekend. But for Conrad, he's discussed how it's helped the integration of players who had previously only played at domestic level.
When you look at some of the younger guys that become household names in SA20, as soon as you expose them into international cricket, that there's still a gap and there's still a pressure and a scrutiny that they would never have experienced before. So on that front, it's been an invaluable exercise to see guys like Connor Estes and Mokoena step up, Subrian on debut, like I said, and deliver the goods. Whilst both teams are not at full strength, I think it's been an exciting series.
And Jannik Sinner has surpassed Novak Djokovic's 10-year record for most consecutive sets won at ATP Masters 1000s events after beating Conor Motet at the Miami Open. Sinner recorded his 25th and 26th straight sets win in a 71-minute 6-1 and 6-4 victory, having previously matched Djokovic's record in beating Damir Zamir in his opening match. Tholakele Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN traffic is brought to you by Plumlink, your local plumbing store. Visit plumlink.co.za to find your nearest store. But to find out about what's happening on the roads, Garawo Chali will tell us.
Well, things looking really good on our roads at this hour. Nothing really to worry about at this stage. Just look out for those faulty traffic lights in North Riding at Belez and Malibongo Drive. In Kyalami, traffic lights not working at Kenilworth and Kyalami Boulevard, as well as in Sandton at Grayston and the M1. If you come across any other traffic issues, kindly WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
If it's plumbing, you'll find it at Plumlink, South Africa's largest plumbing retailer. From pipes, fittings, geysers and baths, to basins, taps, tools and accessories, we've got it all. With more than 10,000 quality products at the right price and over 150 stores nationwide, there's always a Plumlink near you, ready to help with expert advice and unbeatable value. Find your nearest branch today at plumlink.coza. Plumlink, your local plumbing store.
You're now listening to 702 Afternoon Drive with John Perlman. Brought to you by Telkom Business. Possible begins here.
702 Podcast.
On primemediaplus.com.
Only if you knew what kind of colleagues I have around here. I mean, guys from other radio stations should not even bother to criticize me. The colleagues that I have here are taking me night and day. I'm saying that because during the break...
How do you tell a story when you know we're about to come back on air?
During the break, guys, things that you don't get to hear. Everyone are taking me here. Tholakele walks in and I'm telling a story and there she shouts at me, how do you tell a half story? You might as well have not told us at all. We don't even want to hear it. Who needs colleagues like these? Who? How wabanna? Hi. Anywho, you're on 702. Great having you with us. 14 minutes to 4 o'clock. Speaking of Tholakele, she's here. I hope you're well. Other than the story part.
Now I have to wait for the next spot break to finish the story.
Yeah. But Tolagele, we were talking earlier on about the psychology behind wearing or buying expensive clothes. Are you making up for something? Are you overly compensating for something that is lacking in your life? Are you communicating a message to your colleagues or your friends around? Or is it truly something that you love? You're just a stylish person. But, I mean, is there anything wrong with buying expensive clothes?
I believe it was the great philosopher, Steve Gompela, who said, you work hard, spoil yourself. That's legitimately what it is. Imagine working roughly 29 days of the month.
Yeah.
And you work hard. Like, you really, really do work hard. If there's that thing that you want to clear from your cards as a reward for getting through the month, because the month comes with a lot of things. You're avoiding accidents. You're dealing with drama when you get home. You're dealing with a difficult manager, those sort of things. For me, I look at buying that expensive thing as a congratulations, let's keep going.
Yeah.
That's all I view it
as. A
as.
motivational tool.
It's not about anybody else.
Yeah.
Every month, my friends will tell you.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the month, I put something in a cart.
Yeah.
The minute salary it logger, that thing gets cleared from my cart.
Yeah, but I mean, Garabo says also that he looks good in those clothes, they're quality clothes, and he prefers them. So what kind of percentage do you use to buy expensive clothes? Is it 70-30 or 20-80? How do you ration it out?
When I see something nice, I'll probably buy it.
Yeah.
I don't.
Do you have a limit? I mean, do you have a limit to say?
Yeah, my budget is the limit.
I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
About 4 days ago, I saw a stunning jacket in Sandton. Beautiful. Yeah. I'm not going to mention the name of the shop, but it was costly. And I thought, no way. I just couldn't bring myself to buy it. I had the money, but I thought, how do I justify this to myself that I bought a jacket?
You love it.
How do I do that? So much money on one jacket that I'm not going to wear as often as I would like to anyway, because I'd be saving it for a better day.
That's a skills issue, Thabo. Honestly, I
really
and I say that like respectfully in the sense of I think you're always waiting for like a special occasion to happen in order to wear that thing. The fact that it's the next day is enough of a special occasion. Because I also used to have this thing where I'm like, I'm going to buy this cute heel and I'm going to wear it there. And then it's 6 months later and now all of a sudden your shoe has changed. Yeah. Just to wear the jacket.
Okay, wearing jacket, but buying it. How do you justify buying something so small for so much? You could have done so much. You could have helped the poor. You could have helped the sick. You could have helped the church. Mamfundisi. You could have assisted.
I can do both. I can do both.
Excuse us.
When you're thinking, once, let's say you've helped the poor and you've given the money. Yeah. Now you're sitting there, then you drive past that same robot and the lady is still begging for the money.
Yeah.
And you've gone like, but I gave you 10,000 the other day. You're not doing it out of the goodness of your heart. You did it because, there's a better thing that I could have done with it. What if taking care of you is the best thing that you can do? Just because you show up in the world happier.
Yeah, I think it's a psychological thing as well. Because it could be that some of us are not used to doing that. We feel guilty when we do that. And we punish ourselves when we do that. Because generally, that's not our background, and perhaps it's got something to do with where we come from, I suspect.
I can get that, but at some point, you have to show up for you the way you've always wanted someone else to do it for you. So spend that extra, let me say 500 Rand. Maybe every month you put aside 500 Rand to say, okay, this is my gift for myself for getting through the month. We're not saying like be like Garabo and drop 10K.
Yeah.
Garabo earns a different salary
than all of us.
Yes.
Clearly.
Wow. So start small, whether it's the shoe, whether it's the flowers. By the way, our TP Garabo has a flower company. Check out her social media page for those of you.
I didn't know. She didn't tell me.
It's those little things where you commit to the small thing and then eventually you get comfortable with treating yourself.
I'm not going to buy a t-shirt for 12,000 rands. I'm not going to do that.
I can understand.
12 grand a t-shirt.
But then
a golf tee.
Who made it though? If it's Makosa.
Well, tell us. Would you do that? Maybe you are doing that right now, and maybe you are wearing that expensive clothing item right now, and you want to challenge us on it. Is it filling a gap in your life? Let us know on 072 702 1702. 9 minutes to 4.
Let's walk the talk.
702.
The Labour Court in Cape Town dismissed the review application brought by an employee challenging his dismissal after he failed to report his absence to his manager. To cut the long story short, the employee had nosebleeds a day before and was not feeling well, went to the doctor, got a sick note, and they presented a sick note, but it was said that on the subsequent day when he was sick and stayed at home, he did not inform the line manager appropriately. As a result, it is said that the court found that this Mr. Ngulana was in the wrong, and he was subsequently fired. To help us understand this far better than us, because we're not lawyers and we know very little about labor law, Audrey Johnson joins us, employment lawyer. Audrey, thanks for your time. Welcome to 702. Good afternoon.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
I want to ask first, how rampant is this? Because many of us think that as long as I have a sick note, I am home free.
It is fairly common. You're not wrong. And I think the important thing to realize here is that the problem in this case wasn't so much the existence of a sick note or the absence of a sick note. It was the employee's failure to communicate properly with his employer about his absence and about how long he was going to be absent for. And what is very common, what we're seeing a lot of, is doctors issuing sick notes that don't say when the employee's return to work date will be. So you have a sick note confirming that the employee is ill, but not how long the employee will be off for, which is what happened in this instance. And what the employee was faulted for was his failure to tell his employer exactly how long he would be off for, and communicating with his employer clearly in this regard.
What is the right procedure to follow if I'm sick and they saw me that I was not feeling well at 7:02 today, and I was half asleep and perhaps I was running to the loo every other 2 seconds, and my manager saw that I was not well, and I went to the doctor to get a sick note, and what then from there is the right thing to do, even though I still have a sick note?
So the right thing to do is to communicate with your employer either on every day that you know that you'll be absent, or upfront to say, look, I've been booked off until, in this case, the employee was booked off from the 20th of April till the 22nd of April. If he had said right in the beginning, I'll be away until the 22nd of April and I will be back at work on the 23rd of April, he couldn't have been found to have done anything wrong. The difficulty was that his line manager then tried to contact him on the 21st and the 22nd of April and couldn't reach him, and also didn't know that he was still booked off at that stage. So the right thing to do is, despite your sick note that you might only submit when you get back to work, or that you may submit up front, but that doesn't have a date in it, you must communicate with your line manager. And most employers, this isn't something that's prescribed by the law, but most employers have an employment contract that says that if you are absent for more than 2 days, you have to produce a doctor's note. And then the next provision in an employment contract is normally you must communicate the fact that you'll be absent with your line manager as soon as you become aware of it on the day of your absence. So every day that you're going to be absent, you must make sure that your line manager knows that you won't be there. And obviously that's to help an employer manage their operations, taking into account your absence.
What would be the proper legal framing for it, or a charge in this instance? Because I can't imagine it being absence without leave, because leave is facilitated by the sick note, I presume. I'm not a lawyer, Audrey. Feel free to challenge me.
No, well, you sound like you could be one. That's 100% right. The allegation of misconduct against the employee in this instance couldn't be that the employee didn't have a reason for being absent, because he was ill and he had a doctor's note confirming that he was ill. But the allegation against the employee would be failing to comply with the employer's rule to communicate your absence to your line manager.
So the charge, perhaps the law doesn't pronounce itself appropriately or more vocally on it. As I said, I mentioned absence without leave. Could it be insubordination? You did not communicate with your line manager?
So insubordination is something slightly different. Yeah. Insubordination is if your employer gives you an instruction and you fail to comply with it. Arguably, it could be because in this instance, the employee was already, and that's an important point to note, that the employee was already on 3 previous warnings for failing to communicate his absence. So I guess in that sense, it was insubordination because he persistently failed to comply with the rule. But I think the appropriate allegation would be more failing to comply with the workplace rule in relation to communicating your absence.
And I suppose just for 30 seconds or so, Audrey, in this instance, employers have it in a difficult way to an extent that a number of employees would see it fit just to go to the doctor and get a doctor's note. Whether they're sick or not, an employee is bound to take their word for it.
Yes, there have also been fairly recent judgments emanating from our labour courts where employers have dismissed employees for producing fraudulent sick notes, but on the basis of a mere suspicion. The employers didn't actually have concrete evidence to show that the sick note was not valid and was in fact fraudulent. So it is quite difficult to dismiss an employee on the basis of producing a sick note that you don't believe to be true, unless you can really produce concrete evidence, in the form of that the doctor's note was in fact falsified.
Audrey Johnson is an employment lawyer. Audrey, thanks for your time. Really appreciate it. I hope we'll chat again in the near future. 3 minutes to 4.
The Midday Report.
Weekdays,
12 to 1.
Do you believe that this was in line with your responsibilities on the ad hoc committee?
All I'm saying, you cannot have a minister go live on Facebook. Last week, he also had a press conference. And on this weekend, he says, yeah, Delina is a slang sonder gif. I mean, his utterances towards a member of parliament is completely unacceptable at this point. I haven't mentioned Gayton McKenzie in anything. I have probed allegations in the ad hoc committee, and I will continue to do that without fear or favor.
The Midday Report
With Mandy Wiener.
12 to 1 on 702.
702.
One of the best things about WeWork is the freedom to move. Get 24/7 access. Get 24/7 access to flexible workspaces across 66 countries, plus the choice to expand when your business scales. Access meeting rooms, social events, all-day coffee, and community that makes the work matter. With a WeWork All-Access membership, you are clocking into a global ecosystem with over 2,000 locations worldwide. Sign up for a private office before 30 April and get 1 month free access. T's and C's apply. Visit wework.co.za.
You can become a victim of a legal problem, wrongful arrest, assault, uncontested divorce, rental disputes, maintenance matters, or labor problems. It can happen to you. Clientele Legal provides tough professional lawyers for an affordable monthly premium. Our legal team is standing by to assist you 24 hours a day. Join today. SMS Legal to 48721. That's legal to 48721. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Water is a precious and limited resource that we all depend on. Johannesburg Water continues to strengthen the city's water network through improved turnaround times for leak repairs, pressure management, and infrastructure upgrades to improve system reliability. But water conservation is a shared responsibility. Residents can help by fixing household leaks, turning off taps, taking shorter showers, and using water wisely. Every drop saved helps. Brought to you by Johannesburg Water, a water and sanitation utility that cares.
When was the last time you felt something? Something that ignites your passion, gets your adrenaline pumping, and makes your heartbeat skip? When was the last time you fell in love? Introducing the new Alfa Romeo Junior with 280 horsepower and standard park assist. Learn to love again. Visit alfaromeo.co.za to book a test drive.
Driving the conversation on 702 Afternoon Drive with John Perlman. Powered by Telkom Business. Possible begins here.
This is EWN.
A study suggests South Africans are divided on whether Electoral Commission can continue to oversee elections, and 5 die in Russia's latest attack on Ukraine. A very good afternoon. I'm Mungi Zikoko. A new study measuring voter sentiment has revealed that South Africans are divided on whether the Electoral Commission is still able to deliver free and fair elections. The IEC, alongside the Human Sciences Research Council, released the latest voter participation survey today. Now, the study was conducted through face-to-face interviews with citizens aged 16 years and older across provinces. The council's research director, Dr. Ben Roberts, says 85% of the voting population still believes the IEC is doing a good job.
So what we're seeing here is amongst the voting public, trust is in the 85 to 90% range. Yes, it's showing a slight decline over recent rounds of assessment, but you can see the sheer gulf in assessment that exists around confidence in the IEC between the general public versus the voting public.
However, non-voting citizens have lost trust in the IEC.
So the Commission hasn't been immune to this generalized decline in confidence in key institutions. So in 2010, trust in the Commission was at 74%. The latest assessment has it at 32% nationally.
Residents of the Tladi informal settlement say they're looking forward to having electricity supply. This follows the demolition of a house in the area, which was delaying the installation of a transformer. Now, today, the City of Johannesburg's Human Settlements Department confirmed it can finally start the process. More than 1,500 residents will now benefit from the informal settlement upgrade program, which includes electrification. Joburg MMC for Human Settlements, Mlungisi Mabaso.
If you stand in the way of a development, we are going to deal with you, one way or the other. I mean, we can't allow one person to hinder the work that we are doing, to be the stumbling block to the service that we need to provide to the majority of our residents.
Resident Tandi Chabalala says their dignity has been restored.
We are happy that after all these years, we can finally get electricity. And the house was also obstructing the road. Ambulances could not go in. Police vehicles couldn't pass.
The department says it anticipates the project will be completed in September. The Gauteng Education Department has expressed sadness over the fatal stabbing of 2 learners in 2 separate incidents. A grade 12 learner from Daleview Secondary School in Ennerdale was killed yesterday while walking home. In a separate incident last week, a grade 8 learner was fatally beaten and then stabbed, later succumbing to his injuries in hospital. Department spokesperson Steve Mabona says psychosocial support is being provided to the affected learners and educators at both schools.
The circumstances surrounding these incidences are being investigated by the police. The MEC has conveyed his condolences to the families, friends, and the school communities.
And a barrage of Russian missiles and drones have killed 5 people and wounded more than 24 across Ukraine today, in the largest attack in weeks. According to news agency AFP, parts of Ukraine were repeatedly battered by Russian attacks, which resulted in a fire at a high-rise residential block. The attack comes as Ukraine is concerned that it could struggle to repel Russian aerial strikes as its supplies of U.S. air defense systems dwindle amid the war in the Middle East. President Volodymyr Zelensky says Russia fired more than 390 attack drones and 34 various missiles during the night. Gold is trading at $4,356.30 an ounce. The rand is at 17.09 to the dollar, 22.85 to the pound, 19.77 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $102.58 a barrel.
Well, at this stage in the Joburg CBD, there's bumper traffic. This is on the M1 southbound from Killarney Benz to the Crown Interchange, while in Bryanston, traffic sluggish N1 southbound from Rivonia Road to Winnie Mandela Drive. And in Midrand, there's also slow-moving traffic on the N1 northbound from Ellendale to Samrand.
In your sport, Brazil and Argentina inquire about playing Bafana Bafana. Proteas women looking to finish their T20 series against New Zealand on a positive note. And Yannick Sinner surpasses Novak Djokovic's Masters 1000 record.
A partly cloudy Wednesday in store for Gauteng tomorrow, with isolated showers and thundershowers expected. Joburg drops to an overnight low of 17 degrees, peaking at a high of 25. Pretoria 18 and 27. Vereniging 16, reaching a high of 27 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour: a new study measuring voter sentiment has revealed that South Africans are divided on whether the Electoral Commission is still able to deliver free and fair elections.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
702.
Live
on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856.
92.7.
And 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
6 minutes after 4 o'clock. Thanks very much for joining us. If you have just done that, where have you been? You've missed out on some interesting interviews. We had a chat with Babalon Denze, our EWN parliamentary reporter, reflecting on the briefing by Basic Education Minister. And there were allegations of irregularities. The ANC in Parliament was accusing her of, listen to this, cadre deployment. Yep. And they were saying that that was relevant to the position of Deputy Director General responsible for curriculum. The interviews are currently underway, and it appears that the ANC was not happy with the minister's preferred selection. And that's the discussion we had in the past hour. We also looked at sick notes. You could still lose your job even though you gave your employer a sick note, as it is with a case recently at the Labour Court where a dismissal was issued for not reporting absence to manager despite having a sick note. And also, coming up in a short while, commercial crimes in South Africa are high, just next to kidnapping. Why? Rebecca Davis will tell us all about that. Rebecca Davis is with Daily Maverick, where she's a journalist. 7 after 4. But quickly, your voice notes. Keep them coming through to 072 702 1702. We spoke about a couple of things, including people preferring buying expensive clothes. Yep. And you gave us your views. Here they are.
Let's walk the talk.
702.
Good afternoon, T-Man and 702 listeners. A proper sick note will state when an employee is supposed to come back to work. There can never be a sick note that just says you visited the doctor, you are ill, but it doesn't tell the employer when you're supposed to go back to work. And an employee also cannot take that sick note that does not have the dates of his illness stipulated, and then thinks he's going to stay at home indefinitely without the employer being made aware. If you are an employee with such a sick note, you have to request the doctor to state the dates, or at least you must inform your employer that you are being booked off until when, because the employer will not just cannot be at your mercy until you come back to work. Thank you.
Hi Tabo, this is in response to your topic on people buying expensive clothes. There's a guy I'm responding to. He said, how can a cashier send a son to JP Boys? She can't afford it. Come on. I actually applaud that cashier who understands and sees the value in education. She wants to break the cycle of poverty. She doesn't want her son to be a cashier like her. So she wants us to give her son the best education she can, so that the son can be high up there. I mean, what is wrong with that? Come on.
I think a fair point to make, but also remember there are some schools, right, in Quintile 1, and where they make provision for, and I forgot the actual lexicon for it right now, but they make sure that even if you cannot afford, the school covers you. I don't know why I forgot that term.
Exemption?
Is it an exemption?
Yeah.
It's an exemption, hey? Yeah. Well, for a change. That's why you're sitting in front of... I was wondering why. Why is this guy always here? Well, useful, I see. I'm kidding, Karabo. Yeah, but no, definitely, bro. That's an exemption. And so, and it's a fair point to make, because it's not necessarily opulent. It's someone who's investing in the education of their child. 10 minutes after 4.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by South African Airways. See just how far you can go with them. Book at flysaa.com. Now, Mr. Charlie, other than exemptions, how does the traffic look?
Well, it's getting busier at Thabo at this stage. If you're driving through the Joburg CBD bumper-to-bumper traffic on the M1 southbound from Killarney Benz to the Crown Interchange, while in Bryanston, traffic sluggish on the N1 southbound from Rivonia Road to Winnie Mandela Drive. In Midrand, also slow-moving traffic on the N1 northbound. That's heading towards Centurion from Ellendale to Samrand. In Sandton, there's traffic pressure traveling towards Midrand on the M1 northbound from Ethel Auckland all the way to the Patlu Interchange. And driving through Alex, heavy delays on the N3 southbound from Marlborough Drive to Van Buren. For the latest traffic update, you can also follow us on X at EWN Traffic.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. This is what progress sounds like. At South African Airways, we've added more aircraft to the runway, increased our flights from just over 1,000 in 2021 to over 24,000 last year. And we continue to add more destinations and routes. It's steady progress over time. We know there's still work to do, but every day we're building something stronger. An airline that shares the resilience of the country it carries. South African Airways. Book your next flight at flysaa.com today.
Stay with 702 Afternoon Drive with John Perlman. Brought to you by Telkom Business. Possible begins here.
Aubrey Masango.
Weekday evenings,
8 to midnight.
You'll remember that just a few weeks ago with the Eddington Primary School situation, there were people that were being provocative, sending and making videos suggesting that South Africa should live under a Nigerian president. And to the credit of some Nigerians living in South Africa who said, but this is wrong. Can't have a situation where you keep provoking South Africans in this way. Because at some level, we do need to think about the fact that there are people who just like to see
Aubrey Masango.
8 to midnight on 702.
702.
For Olwethu Nxumalo of Ozide Rentals and Custom Dressmaking, every stitch is a story. What's your Telkom business chapter?
What made Telkom business stand out from all the rest was how fast everything was.
And with voice calling and fiber from Telkom Business, she stitches together inquiries and sources fabric online without dropping a thread.
Get unlimited VoIP 1 from 99 Rand per month and Stream Connect Fiber from 399 Rand per month. Call 10213 or click telkom.co.za. T's and C's apply. Telkom Business. Possible begins here.
Don't miss the 8th Annual Human Rights Festival at Constitution Hill from 26 to 29 March. We're bringing together social justice organizations, artists, and the community for 4 days of impact and inspiration. Join us for dialogues, exhibitions, Kiddies Village, the Book Fair, Film Festival, a music element with Friends of Blanco, 1,000 Drums in Solidarity, Gauteng Curator Makers Market, more music, and the We the People Walk and Fit City Run. Visit www.humanrightsfestival.co.za for more information.
The Money Show.
Weekday evenings at 6.
You have Trump suddenly, out of nowhere, saying, well, he's called off the attacks on Iran's energy infrastructure for 5 days. If there is an outbreak of peace, say before the end of the week, do markets go back to what they were before?
So there has been significant damage to oil infrastructure, especially gas infrastructure in the region. Countries like Kuwait have started shutting their wells because obviously they can't do anything with the oil they're producing, and that process apparently takes quite a while to restart.
Isaac Odendaal, investment strategist.
The Money Show
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
The Money Show with Stephen Curtis is brought to you by Absa Islamic Business Bank, celebrating 20 years of banking that honors your values. Your story matters. Absa is a registered FSP.
Let's walk the talk.
702.
14 minutes after 4 o'clock. Welcome back. John is not here. My name is Thabo Sholamashau. I'm happy to be in your company. We've touched on quite a lot, but also on this story, I'm thinking that you would need to have your ears ready. The police have been looking at a number of crimes, and the stats obviously come out every now and then. And you'll be very much interested to know that murder is down. Of course, we could do better. Robbery is down. Sexual offenses are down. Car theft is down, but commercial crimes, it's something else. That's where the tables start to turn. That has gone higher. And someone who's written about this and whose words I'm quoting is Rebecca Davis, who's joining us right now. And Rebecca Davis is with Daily Maverick. Rebecca, thanks for your time. Welcome to 702. Good afternoon.
Thanks for having me, Thabo.
And you are drawing very interesting parallels here, that murder is down but commercial crimes is high. And before we even get to understanding these patterns and the numbers as far as the stats go, perhaps we need to understand commercial crimes definition first, what that is about. Rebecca.
Well, that's the big question, Thabo. So commercial crime technically as a term means a lot of things. It means all kinds of fraud, digital banking fraud, investment scams, email takeovers, corporate embezzlement, money laundering. and certain kinds of corruption adjacent financial offenses. So we might assume that when the police statistics show that commercial crime is up, it means that some combination of all of those is up. But the problem is, and also, Thabo, we have seen this in a number of other categories of crime, and the police has been criticized for this. For some categories of crime, the police does not release disaggregated data, by which I mean a kind of drop-down menu which would enable you to see what types of crime are we talking about here, what forms of fraud, what's going on. It's simply one category, commercial crime. It doesn't tell us what exactly that is or what types of commercial crime are contributing to what seems to be an explosion over the past 10 years. The Hawks does have its own classification for commercial crime. There's 18 categories. They're complex and hard for outsiders to understand. They include things like fraud with a stolen petrol card, violations of the Cybercrime Act, internet-related fraud. Then there's a different category for other fraud. But all in all, there is no central publicly available database which tells us what is being looked at in this category of commercial crime and what it is exactly that is contributing to these numbers going through the roof over time.
One thing we know, it is not violent crime. And I'm wondering, and I'm putting that on the table to suggest that could it be that this becomes a preferred form of crime, perhaps fearing or hesitating to enter the other part, which is not only likely to lead to the police apprehending one, but also being a danger unto oneself physically.
Yes, of course, you're right about that. It shows the figures from the South African Banking Risk Information Center, for instance, show that physical bank robbery is dropping year on year. And the point about that is that, as a forensic expert told me, you would be silly to physically rob a bank now when there are so many sort of technical options at your disposal for stealing money from people's bank accounts instead. So it's definitely the case that the advent of AI, for instance, must be contributing in a really significant way to this explosion, because for one thing, it makes scamming so much easier to carry out. In the past, for instance, if you wanted to carry out a successful scam, Thabo, at a minimum, you would have had to produce some kind of official-looking email from a bank, perhaps. To do that, maybe you would have to speak English to a certain kind of level or another language to a certain kind of level. Now, of course, AI enables you to simply outsource those kind of tasks. And to make matters worse, there are types of LLM like ChatGPT which are available on the dark web, which remove all the protections and guardrails of the LLMs that most of us use, and would enable you, for instance, to plan and execute a fraud from beginning to end. And this is something that is obviously posing huge challenges for financial institutions and for police.
Digital tools at people's disposal, but not just people, criminals' disposal, perhaps also make it a little bit easier to carry out these activities. And you've mentioned them. AI also assists to a large extent. If used properly, I suppose it's a useful tool in the hands of criminals to be, Rebecca. But this increase that you have noted, and as Daily Maverick, I know I've noted that this is part 1 of 4 in a series to come. At which point are the authorities, either through FSCA or any other financial sector authority, are they able to detect these commercial crimes timeously in order to create a deterrence? Because if they're not caught, the deterrence levels will go lower.
Well, it's a huge issue because of the volume of transactions, Thabo, and the fact that all of us, basically, as consumers, want our transactions to be processed quickly, right? So there's often a trade-off between security and convenience here. You want that debit order, that payment to go off without having to jump through too many hoops. The result of that is, unfortunately, that a bunch of suspicious transactions are going to get through because banks are dealing with millions and millions of transactions every day. Each of the major banks employs hundreds of forensic investigators, but there's only so much that they can do. They are also looking at AI tools, of course, which can be automated to some degree to flag certain kinds of suspicious behavior. So, for instance, very small transactions on ATMs happening daily, things like that, withdrawals that happen in very unusual areas. These kind of detection tools are getting better, but often at the moment they can only flag things retrospectively, not before they happen. And that's one of the big problems.
A staggering figure of 396 billion rand from just more than 1,000 cases is attributed to a category which you may refer to as other fraud. And this is quite a huge number. Rebecca, say a little bit about this, please.
Yeah, this is a really staggering figure, and it's contained in the Hawk's latest annual report. It has a category in its commercial crime table just labeled other fraud. It doesn't specify what. And the cost of that is specified in actual value for one financial year, it seems, as 369 billion rand from just over 1,000 cases. Now, that is truly extraordinary, Thabo, because it would mean that we're dealing with an average of 396 million lost across 1,000 cases, unless there are a number of very, very enormous cases which are skewing those averages. But even so, it would be good to have a little bit more detail about what is going on. And to put that into perspective, that is more than the UK lost to fraud over that entire year. And the UK's economy is several times bigger than us. It's also more than the US lost to all internet crime for that year by $4 billion. And that's in a country with an economy 40 times bigger than ours. So it's an extraordinarily large figure. It raises huge questions about what's going on. And one of the issues is probably that a lot of this stuff doesn't get reported. And that's because large financial institutions obviously have huge reputational issues at hand. They don't want to reveal too much about what's going on behind the scenes because, you know, they're worried about giving information that might lead to further security breaches, security lapses, and so on. And also the banks in particular are a trust-based system, right? Yeah. We keep our money in the banks on the understanding that it is basically safe in there. Banks need us to trust that. If the trust in that system collapses and a run on the banks ensue, that is catastrophic for the South African economy. So we have to be careful also about how we discuss this because, you know, what are our responsibilities as media? We can't be making out that, you know, everyone's money in the bank is going missing. Because that's clearly not the truth. Yeah. The banks are doing their best. It's just that the scale of the fraud currently seems to be surpassing their best efforts.
And perhaps it justifies why there would be somewhat of minimal reporting from the side of financial entities such as banks when they have been victims of fraud themselves. But before I say goodbye to Rebecca, whenever someone speaks about commercial crimes, one would think that in the past, one would think that it's these big conglomerates only that are affected. But actually, that has trickled down to a very minuscule citizen.
Yes, for sure. It's definitely not the case that it's only, you know, big companies who are getting ripped off or extorted, etc. What we're seeing, I mean, I've been wading through scores and scores of cases of ordinary people, sometimes losing in excess of 2 million rand out of their bank account overnight in ways that they find incredibly hard to understand. And often these cases are heartbreaking. Often they involve elderly people, people losing their life savings, people who find that scammers have run up huge credit card debt on their accounts, which they are now expected to pay back and simply cannot, and therefore end up in this terrible spiral of debt. So it's a crime with a hugely human face, even though the cost of it might not be felt physically. And that's why I'm questioning why, as a society, we're not more outraged about this. Why aren't we making more of a stink about it, marching on the streets, taking it to Parliament? Because people's lives are being ruined.
We're looking forward to the subsequent 3 installments in this 4-series piece that you have put together. Rebecca Davis, thanks for your time. Rebecca is with Daily Maverick, 25 after 4.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by South African Airways. Get all-inclusive fares your seat, your meal, and your baggage. It's all in. Book at flysaa.com. Mr. Garabo Charlie, the roads, how do they look, sir?
Well, at this stage, if you're traveling through Alex heading towards Germiston, traffic heavily backed up on the N3 southbound from Marlborough Drive to Van Buren. There's traffic pressure in Sandton on the M1 northbound. This is from Athol Oaklands all the way to the Batlu interchange in Midrand. There's an accident scene. This is on the N1 northbound before Allendale, slowing down traffic. There's also slow-moving traffic in Bryanston on the N1 southbound from Rivonia Road to Winnie Mandela Drive. In the Joburg CBD, expect more than a 30-minute delay on the M1 southbound from Killarney Benz to the Crown interchange. If you come across any other traffic issues, kindly WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. This is what progress sounds like. At South African Airways, we've added more aircraft to the runway, increased our flights from just over 1,000 in 2021 to over 24,000 last year. And we continue to add more destinations and routes. It's steady progress over time. We know there's still work to do, but every day we're building something stronger. An airline that shares the resilience of the country it carries. South African Airways. Book your next flight at flysaa.com today.
Let's walk the talk.
702.
EWN Business.
And he'll give us the financial news, matters business, gold price, and everything else that you need to know at this hour. His name is Mr. Stephen Protus.
Mr. Wow. Who am I, my father?
I don't want to answer that, right? You've got grey hair, man, so...
Wow.
Listen, I'm just joking. You're good, Stephen?
When's John back?
You guys always use that one, eh? Sucker punch on me, and I always fall for it. You're good, man.
Tabo, good to see you. Yeah,
Lovely
all
to see
good.
you.
Thank you. So it seems to me that markets are looking for a little bit of direction. They don't know what's going to happen. I mean, I don't know. I have no idea what's going to happen. Lots of uncertainty around whether there are negotiations, who they're with to end the war in the Middle East. And you see this with the oil price. So it's been hovering around $100 a barrel for probably the last 24 hours. Did go below that a bit yesterday on the Trump announcement. Now just over $100. The ore share down 0.25% at 110,196. Financials down 0.31. Industrials down 0.2. Resources up 0.3. And then, everything's kind of hovering. The rand's hovering at around 17 to the dollar as well. The MAS Group up 5.78. This is the property group. They have holdings in Eastern Europe and malls in Romania primarily. They said their headline earnings per share are down by around 22%. Less demand by shoppers in Romania. There was an increase in the VAT rate there, but they're up very strongly. Telkom's up 3%. Premier recovering from yesterday. They're up 2.75%. And Tiger Brands and Sasol and British American Tobacco all up by over 2% on the day. Netcare up 2.18%. They said they've only seen a 0.5% increase in paid patient days in acute hospitals, but demand for mental health care has grown by nearly 3%. And from the beginning of the pandemic, they've been reporting on strong demand for mental health care. This is all compared to the same 5 months to the end of February last year. They've also said they've noted continued pressure within the medical scheme industry. In other words, medical aids seem to be authorizing fewer procedures. The Bytes Group, this is primarily a British IT company. They have a secondary listing here. They're down 16% on the day. They've had a little bit of trouble over the last year, but they have said they've reported what seemed to be a stronger second half and a pretty optimistic outlook. So I'm a little surprised by that movement. Spar is down 3.2 and Pick n Pay down 3. Pick n Pay was a big winner yesterday. Pepcor's down 2 and Naspers and Rebuy Cars both down by around 2.28%. In the US, so again, you see a market that doesn't really know what to do. The Dow Jones is down 0.34, the Nasdaq is down 0.78, the S&P 500 is down 0.5%, and this is after that big rally yesterday. The gold price, $4,391.74, so that is lower. Platinum, $1,893.47. Brent crude, $102.72, and the rand to the dollar, 17.02 to the euro, 19.73 to the British pound, 22.80. Stephen Protus, EWN Business.
Mongezi Koko standing by to give us the very latest on Eyewitness News headlines. Good afternoon one more time, Mongezi.
A very good afternoon to you, Tabo. KZN law enforcement agencies have been accused of favoring the KwaTukuza Taxi Association in its ongoing war with the KwaMaphumulo Taxi Association. This emerged during testimony at the Nkabinde inquiry probing advocate Andrew Chauke's fitness to hold office as Director of Public Prosecutions in Joburg. Taxi boss Spamandla Mhlongo is on the witness stand testifying about his detention by the KZN Kato Manor Organized Crime Unit back in 2009. Chauke previously prosecuted the Kato Manor squad cases, which were later thrown out of court. Nhlanhla Mabaso reports.
KwaMaphumulo Taxi Association chairperson Spamandla Mhlongo has told the commission he fears that law enforcement authorities may do what the Kato Manor squad did to him. He says recent actions by the police and the Department of Transport reminded him of the time he was in detention.
Operation Chanela, there's a unit that is used called Chanela in KZN. The law enforcement from the Department of Transport started impounding our taxis, even the ones that got the operating licenses. At 10 on the very same day, on the 27th, there was a takedown by the police, NIU, targeting the members of the KwaMaphumulo, and they were taken to the police station and they were detained without a charge.
He says while KwaMaphumulo's vehicles were stopped from operating, KwaTukuza took over the route.
So for me, that means there was a really coordinated move in order to threaten us to surrender this route. And the police were used in order to assist KwaTukuza to advance what they wanted to advance.
Both the police and the Department of Transport in the province say they will not be commenting on matters that are before the commission. Nhlanhla Mabaso, Eyewitness News.
The Netcare Hospital Group has expressed sympathy to the family of a baby who died at one of its facilities in 2023 following the release of a report probing the incident. Netcare has welcomed the outcomes of the investigation conducted by the Health Ombudsman and accepted its subsequent recommendations. The probe found that a medication error may have contributed to the baby's death, among other gaps in communication and clinical protocols. Nolutando Ngeno has that story.
The Netcare Hospital Group says it's already implemented a number of safety measures as recommended in the probe's report. These include mandatory forensic postmortems in cases where medication errors are suspected, annual reviews of medication protocols, and enhanced clinical handover monitoring. The group says further changes are being rolled out, with some set for implementation in the coming months. Netcare also says it remains in contact with the family and is committed to addressing their concerns transparently. Health Umbard Daule Mukwena.
There were outdated medical protocols. There was insufficient takeover, shift handover procedures.
The baby died at the Netcare Femina Hospital in Pretoria in 2023. Nolutando Ngeno, Eyewitness News.
In the Western Cape, government says it's concerned but not panicking about the strained water supply in the Garden Route. Dam levels in the Goutswe River catchment area, which includes the Little Karoo, Central Karoo and coastal areas, are currently at just over 51%. The Knysna local municipality has been hardest hit, with the Akkerkloof Dam sitting at around 29%. However, officials say they do not expect a day zero scenario. Ntutuzelo Nene has more.
Provincial Water and Sanitation Head Ntombizanele Bila Mupariwa says work is underway to stabilize the water supply in Knysna. This includes the installation of boreholes and pumping water from other sources to support the Akkerkloof Dam. A water specialist has also been appointed to assist the municipality in dealing with its ongoing water challenges.
All spheres of government are holding hands. The Department of Water and Sanitation is supporting the municipality to augment the current water security.
Meanwhile, dam levels across the Western Cape are now sitting at around 49%, a significant drop from more than 65% recorded during the same period last year. Ndutuzelo Nene, Eyewitness News.
And Japan is set to release another part of its strategic oil reserves from Thursday and will tap into joint stockpiles held by producing nations in the country by the end of the month. The announcement comes after Turkey started releasing 15 days' worth of private sector petroleum reserves last week. Previously, government said that a month's worth of public stockpiles would also be released. Japan depends on the Middle East for 95% of its oil imports. Its strategic oil reserves are among the world's largest and stood at more than 400 million barrels as the end of December. A partly cloudy Wednesday in store for Gauteng tomorrow, with isolated showers and thundershowers expected. Lows of between 16 and 18 degrees and highs of between 25 and 27.
Joburg CBD expect more than a 30-minute delay on the M1 southbound from Killarney Bends to the Crown Interchange in Sandton. Traffic pressure heading towards Midrand on the M1 northbound from Ethel Oaklands all the way to the Patlu Interchange, and driving through Equestria. Expect some delays on Solomon Mahlangu approaching the N14.
The top story in EWN, KZN law enforcement agencies have been accused of favoring the KwaTukuza Taxi Association in its ongoing war with the KwaMaphumulo Taxi Association.
Bongani Bingwa, 702 Breakfast.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9.
The 35-year-old woman believed to be a lawyer was gunned point-blank range outside the CCMA at the corner of Fox and Jubei streets. The gunman, witnesses say, simply walked up to her as she stepped out of her vehicle and fired the shots, walked away and disappeared into the crowd. The killers, it would seem, are no longer hiding. What's behind this growing trend of business killings? Mike Bolhase, who's behind it, do you think?
This is a clear, typical hit. It's a consideration, contemplation, planned and executed scenario. This is a deduction case. It's actually an easy case. You will be able to find out who is the instruction giver here.
Bongani Bingwa, 6 to 9.
On 702.
Imagine beginning your holiday to the sound of the ocean and ending it with a sunset encounter with a big five. Club Med is bringing their brand new beach and safari resort to KwaZulu-Natal this July. It's the first of its kind, combining beachfront escape with a private safari lodge experience, all in one holiday. Plus, it's fully all-inclusive. Think gourmet dining, activities, wellness, and more. Take advantage of the Club Med season opening sale from 24 to 27 March. Book at clubmed.co.za. T's and C's apply.
Do you suffer from heartburn and hyperacidity? To relieve heartburn for the whole day and night with one tablet, a potent once-a-day treatment which was previously prescription only is now available over the counter. Ask your pharmacist for an over-the-counter, long-lasting heartburn treatment. Brought to you by Sandoz.
Ask yourself, what matters most? Is it being there for their first steps and still around for their first dance? Knowing you're not just covered, but cared for. Bonitas goes beyond benefits and claims. We're in your corner for what matters most. Bonitas, medical aid for South Africa. Voted #1 medical aid in the Ask Africa Orange Index Awards for the second year running. Visit bonitas.co.za and find your plan.
702.
WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
Good afternoon to you, Thabo, and the team. Thabo, I'm not a forerunner for opulence. I would rather take 10,000 Rand and buy myself a full outfit. Shoes, 3-piece suit, shirt, tie, full outfit, 10,000 Rand. I'd rather take 10,000 Rand and buy myself 5 pairs of sneakers instead of 1 pair. Nah, that's just me. But I strongly believe that you buy one item for 10,000 Rand, they only notice it for the day. Whereas if you wear something spiffy, if you dress yourself spiffy every day, then people will talk about you every day. Hopeful in Boksburg. Cheers.
Hopefully, I agree with you. I really agree with you. I always feel guilty if I were to buy something very expensive. I beat myself up and I'm thinking I could have bought so many other things, and here I am. I splashed so much money on one item. I don't like that a lot. But I must say, there are some items where you're thinking, this was just worth it. In case you've just joined us, good afternoon. Welcome. Thabo in for John. We were just chatting about expensive clothing items that you splash your money on. Why do you do that? Is it a psychological thing? Does it give you a lift up of sorts? Is it a motivation to you that you're working hard? Tolagele was saying you're working hard all month, so you need to reward yourself somehow. Or is it filling a gap, a vacuum in your space? Somehow emotionally it fills close that gap for you. And we asked you to send those voice notes, and Hopeful was just doing exactly that. 20 minutes to 5 o'clock.
EWN Sport.
With Tholakele Mganga with the latest on the sporting world. Tholakele, good afternoon.
Afternoon, Thabo. Well, the Proteas' respective T20 series against New Zealand end tomorrow, with only the men having a chance to win their matchups. Shugri Conrad's side put themselves in contention to clinch the games following a 19-run win in the fourth encounter, and he's revealed his expectations for the final match.
Almost got to resort to old-fashioned T20 cricket in terms of with the bat, how you set it up, and then with the ball almost hold first-class test match length. So I think it's set up nicely. I think the toss hasn't played such a big part as it might have done in previous encounters. Great to finish it off in Christchurch. The last tour we won, we started off in Christchurch, and I mean a fantastic oval like this, and also rich in cricketing history. We're expecting good facilities and a good match tomorrow night.
The Proteas women will play New Zealand in their fifth and final T20, with the series already gone as a result of the host 3-1 lead. And with just prior to play 4 for Nadine de Klerk and her teammates, she's discussed what key areas they need to improve on to end the matchups on a high.
It probably has to be from a batting point of view. Like I said, I think we just haven't been able to put up a complete performance as yet. We've had a few batters here and there putting up their hand. Anari batted really well the previous game. We've had Kayla a couple of times as well. So I think it's really important that we try and string together a few good partnerships. Tomorrow's an ideal opportunity for us to go out there and really put up a batting performance and then just try and back that up in the field, really.
Hugo Bruce has hailed Jaden Adams' maturity after his improved form saw him brought back into the Bafana fold ahead of their 2 friendlies against Panama. Adams is called up for the first time in a year, having lost his place due to alleged ill discipline and inconsistent showings at club level. But since the return of domestic football in January, Adams has been a solid performer in Mamelodi Sundowns' midfield alongside Debo Homokwena.
He's more mature and the qualities are still there. And I think that mature, this is something he got in the last year because he was conscious for himself, and I think he looked in the mirror and said to himself, Jaden, if you go on like this, your career is finished. You will go again to Aruma Gallants or whatever, because in Sundowns it will not succeed. And I'm very happy with it. He's a very good player. I think he can help us a lot.
And Tiger Woods will return to competitive golf tonight when he tees up for Jupiter Links Golf Club on the last night of the TGL finals. Woods has been serving as an advisor and unofficial cheerleader for his team while working his way back from lumbar disc replacement surgery in October, as well as a left Achilles tendon rupture. Woods has undergone 7 back surgeries and made the last of his PGA Tour appearances 20 months ago. Tholakele Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now. You could save on car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 rands. Mr. Charlie, we are asking you what's happening on the roads.
Well, at this stage, if you're driving through the Joburg CBD heading towards Boysons, you can expect about a 30-minute delay. M1 South from Killarney Benz to the Crown Interchange in Bryanston. Traveling towards Fourways, there's slow-moving traffic. N1 southbound from Rivonia Road to Winnie Mandela Drive, while in Midrand heading towards the Centurion. Traffic is a bit sluggish. This is on the N1 northbound from Ellendale to Samrand. Also traffic pressure in Sandton heading towards Midrand. This is on the M1 northbound between Athol, Oakland and the Butlu Interchange. If you are heading towards Germiston, driving through Alex, traffic heavily backed up. This is on the N3 southbound from Marlborough Drive all the way to Van Buren due to a stationary vehicle in Equestria. Also bumper-to-bumper traffic on Solomon Mahlangu approaching the N14. If you come across any other traffic issues, kindly WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. The Outsurance pointsmen know that every car on the road carries a story. There's a car with a work commuter. She's done this route 1,000 times. Perhaps she's daydreaming of a different job or just counting down to the weekend. The Outsurance pointsmen know it's not just another car in traffic. It's anticipation on the move. Every story's different and every story matters. That's why the Outsurance pointsmen have been doing what they do since 2005 in proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
702 Podcast
On PrimeMediaPlus.com.
At 15 minutes to 5 o'clock, Thabo in for John. Welcome back. And joining us in the studio is Tholakele Mganga and Karabo Charlie, my colleagues. Tolagele has been giving you sports, and Karabo informs you on what's happening on the roads. But I'd like a different kind of contribution from them right now. And guys, earlier on, I was just thinking that we are scammed every single day of our lives. Daylight robbery happens under our noses, but we say nothing about it. You know why? Because we are decent people. We pretend that because we are civilized, this is not daylight robbery. It's commercialized, it's corporatized, and we have learned to accept it. Everyday scams that have become legal. Let me kick off. One, the hotels. I mean, hotels, you check in at 2 in the afternoon, but you must check out at 10 in the morning. Yet you are paying a full day's rate at that particular hotel. From 10 to 2, 11, 12, 1, 2. 4 hours of your supposed stay is taken away from you by a hotel, but that's all good. None of us complain. And the hotels would argue, yeah, you must give us a chance to clean our rooms, and that's why. That's not my business. I've paid a full amount. I want a full day. So, my question to you and our listeners, what are everyday scams that we have come to know and accept and even protect and defend? Mr. Charlie.
I always have a grudge when I have to renew my license disc. They don't even check the car. You just have to renew a license disc, and it is costly. For what?
Yeah.
For what, really? Just so that Metro Police can check and give you an excuse to give you a ticket. Guys.
So that's daylight robbery to you.
Yeah, the license disc. I get the driver's license because they check your eyes and see if you can see properly. But the license disc, my car is still, they don't even check if it's still roadworthy or not.
Yeah, they just paper.
Expect you to, it's just paper.
But now that's daylight robbery. Great. And Ma'am Fundisi?
2 things. Why am I paying the bank to look after my money?
Well, because they are looking after your money. Security, remember?
Why? And also, why do I need different levels? It's my money. Let me be poor.
What do you mean?
Let me be poor. If I'm on like a premium account, why are you charging me extra? We need a standard rate for everybody's money to be looked after. I don't need a private banker. I don't need an overdraft because that's just setting me up.
But some people need it.
You're not a reckless spender. I don't need this. And secondly, we are letting chip companies charge us for air.
Yeah. You mean crisps?
Yes.
And yeah. There's a name for it. There's a name for it.
I almost said one specific company.
You should
the
have.
one at like a triangle. You guys.
Yeah. It starts with a D, right?
Yes.
And ends with an S.
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
And then that other one.
They've got blue and orange.
Yes.
Kind of, yeah.
And that other one that does they crisps in a tube. You guys
are
getting a little bit carried
Starts
away.
With P, right?
Yes, you're getting a little carried away with those prices. I'm watching you. I'm going to call the Consumer Commission in about a week.
Shrinkage.
Really?
I think. Yeah, there's a name for it. Where they put very little and the egg occupies about 40% and the contents would be 60% and the rest is just hot
it's just too much.
Yeah.
And also data prices. I don't know how it's fake, but I just feel like somehow.
No, but data prices, guys. But I'm glad. I mean, I hear that the authorities are onto that, but it took them decades to deal with it. Because, and on data prices, when I told Agele, it's a very important one because I could have my data forfeited, 30-day data forfeited, simply because the 30 days expired, not because the data expired. So that's something else. I'd love to hear from you. Daylight robberies and scams that we've come to accept and defend. Colin, you're calling us from Centurion. Hey, Colin.
Daylight robbery. You know, what we forget as society, especially South African citizens. For example, let me give you a simple one. When you do not pay your water or your lights, right, they cut it. And then they charge you to reconnect it.
Yes.
Right? There's all fees for all that. Now you pay it every day. You pay it every month. And then, let's say, for example, for whatever reason, 10 days you don't have water. right?
Yeah.
Now, when that 10 days is over, it just goes back to saying, sorry, pipe burst, we're fixing it up, and everybody goes back to normal. But if we stop and say, no problem, problems happen, pipes burst, but for 10 days, I did not have water. So when the end of the month, my bill comes in, we want a reduction by some kind of matrix that you work out for 10 days that I didn't have water. Now, if we do that as society, things will start to change because there is repercussion for somebody's incompetence in not, let's say, looking after the system, looking after the
Spot
pipe.
on.
You know, we dismiss it. We
Spot
dismiss
on.
it completely.
No, Colin,
And
spot
guys,
on. We can say the same about
thing is-
electricity and load shedding.
Exactly.
Remember
I
those
use that
times?
as example.
Yeah.
For example, no one can say, oh, how do we repay them? You have got the grid system. You know exactly which area the water was off. Those people in that region for the next month see at least 500 back and say, wow,
Yes.
okay, great. Now multiply that 500 by all the times. Then the government will come right and say, hey, listen, we can't afford to not have water for 3 days because we have to pay back. If we can do that as a country,
We'll
I'm
go
telling you,
far. Colin, got your point. Point well made. Sipho, you're in Springs. Good afternoon. Sipho?
Hello, sir.
Hey, tell
Hello, sir. How are you?
Good on you,
All right,
Sipho.
thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, this is Sipo from Springs.
Yebo.
Yes, I would like to make a contribution. You know, when it comes to buying these meals at the, I won't mention any names, when they advertise a nice big packet. And then when you order, you get a small packet, and then you feel like, am I paying so much for this? And to me, it's a total scam.
Yeah.
Why can't they just show us that you're going to get it, but it will come in very small portions?
Yes.
Then you make a decision there and there and not be surprised.
Yeah. No, got
That's
you,
what
Sipho.
I felt.
Spot on. I mean, another scam is having to tip waiters and waitrons, and yet they have already charged a 10% tip rate on your bill anyway. Yeah, I think that's something else. But lastly, how about this one, Garabo? We have to somehow tip the car guards at a shopping mall. The shopping mall, what is it doing?
Well, some of them are self-employed, according to my understanding. So the mall doesn't pay them. So
yeah, but
they
the
rely
mall
on-
benefits from them being there because they're providing safety and security for the mall. It's the mall that's supposed to pay them, not us. But the mall is happy to say, you're working for yourself, but they are
you're
providing
also-
a service.
You're
you
also
know?
not obligated to pay them.
You mean who?
The car guards.
Yeah, sure. But I mean, you're not just going to stop paying them for the sake of it.
Why not?
Amuna, don't you feel bad? What's inside your chest?
When
is
those
it a
thugs,
brick? I
when
thought
those
it was a
thugs
heart.
come with guns, what are they going to do? They're going to run, Papa.
Got you. 011-883-0702. Tabiso, you are in Midrand. Hey, Tabiso.
Hi, Tabut. Quick one.
Yeah.
I don't know if I should mention the names or not.
Hey, you should have just done it and apologized later. But now we'll all be in trouble. No, don't mention them.
Yeah. No. So there are two delivery services. Those ones who deliver fast food and those ones who deliver your groceries. The ones that deliver your groceries,
Oh, Tabi,
you're going to get it for 5
I lost you for a second. Sorry, Tabis. Go back a little bit. I lost you for about 3 seconds.
No worries. No, I was saying there are two delivery services that you get for food. There's ones that deliver fast food, takeaways. Then there's ones that deliver groceries.
Yes.
The ones that deliver groceries, if an item is 5 rand, you're going to get it for 5 rand. But the one that deliver food, fast food, they charge you delivery fee. On top of that, that thing is 50 rand. They charge you 55 rand. And you're like, well, guys, I'm paying 50 rand at the store directly. And you still charge me for delivery. Then I charge an extra 5 rand for it.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
You see, those are the follies of this big monster called capitalism. That's why we are afraid to say anything. And we can't say anything. I mean, the hotels, they steal 4 hours from your day, but you're paying for a full day. That's daylight robbery. 5 minutes to 5 o'clock.
in the last 24 hours. This is what's happened in your world.
The case against the son of late former Zimbabwean President Robert Mugabe has been postponed yet again. Bellarmine Mugabe and his co-accused Tobias Matonze briefly returned to the Alexandra Magistrates Court this morning. The latest postponement is linked to the state and defense not being able to conclude their plea agreement. The pair are facing 7 charges, including contravening the Immigration Act, attempted murder, defeating the ends of justice, and the illegal possession of a firearm. They were arrested last month in connection with the shooting of an employee at their Hyde Park home. Defense lawyer Sinenhlanhla Mnguni.
I think necessarily unhappy. I just think we haven't found each other as much as we would have liked at this point.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent.
Congratulations to the lucky Powerball winner who bagged a mind-blowing jackpot of over 108 million rand on Friday after playing on a banking platform. Play Powerball Plus for an estimated 52 million rand jackpot this Tuesday, and you could make it rain lots of cash this March. Buy your tickets now in store on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app or cell phone banking. Panda Pusher Play. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. Ituba is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
Let's hear from Dr. Amand, owner of Monument Dental, why it pays to switch to OUTsurance Business Insurance.
It was one call and I was covered immediately. We are very happy with the premium we're paying. I wish I did it sooner.
For dentistries, general medical practices, and all other businesses, get a quote today and see why it pays to switch to OUTsurance Business Insurance. Visit outsurance.co.za or call 08600 60,000 today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
Gauteng is currently experiencing high water consumption. To avoid water interruptions, residents are urged to use water sparingly to allow equitable supply. Act now. Save water. Every drop counts. This message is brought to you by the Department of Water and Sanitation, Rand Water, Gauteng Provincial Government, City of Johannesburg, City of Tshwane, and City of Ekurhuleni.
You're now listening to 702 Afternoon Drive with John Perlman. Brought to you by Telkom Business. Possible begins here.
702. WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
One of the biggest scams is taxes. We pay tax so that the government can look after us, protect us, keep us safe. Our tax funds SAPs, but they are so useless. Crime is so high in this country that I have to pay a security company 600 rands per month to do what I am paying the government to do. What a scam. So my security subscription every month should be tax deductible because I've paid the government to do that and they are not doing that. It's a total scam.
Thabo, my one issue is flights. You are late by 1 minute or 2 minutes for your flight. They tell you you've been bumped off.
Yeah.
But we must just take it that no, there's a delay in the flight and it's not even your fault. You are there early, but the flight has been delayed and you must just accept it. To me, that is a ripoff.
702. So for me, the biggest daylight robbery is insurance. I've changed the insurance, insured the same 3 cars, but with a slightly different insurer. And I am saving, I kid you not, 4,000 rand just from changing insurance.
What?
This is big.
No, I mean, the flights. Oh, yeah. See, that kills me. That really makes me pull my hair. It has happened to me a million times. I arrive on time and I miss meetings because they are late. And there's nothing I can do. It's just, we apologize for being late this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. But if I'm late, 14 seconds late, I'm sorry, sir. The flight has been closed already. You can't go through. 100%. And also 100% right with the insurance. So we were asking earlier on the legal scams that we have accepted. Daylight robberies that we have taken as a norm because it's done by the private sector. Well, we were supposed to speak about an important issue, safety of South African of schools in Gauteng. It has been found that 34 of them are not safe. We had scheduled an interview with the Department of Gauteng, the spokesperson, Steve Mabona, and he just dropped us like a bad habit at the last moment on that very important issue. Priorities, right? Exactly 5 o'clock.
This is EWN.
ANC in the Eastern Cape says it's all systems go for its provincial conference, and Ngabane to face the music after lying to Parliament. A very good afternoon. I'm Mungi Zikoko. The ANC in the Eastern Cape says it's ready for its provincial conference in Kugompo this weekend, formerly known as East London, now despite what it calls frivolous disputes over the process. Provincial Chairperson and Premier Oscar Mabuyane says the conference, which starts on Friday, is critical for the party's future as it prepares for the local government elections later this year. The party's Secretary-General Fikile Mbalula also says the party will be defending itself in court over an attempt to interdict the conference, which begins on Friday and ends on Sunday. Baba Lundenze reports.
The run-up to the ANC's 10th provincial conference has hit a few hurdles, with disputes over the process, including a High Court challenge to halt the conference. But provincial leader Oscar Mabuyane told a press conference this afternoon that they won't be stopped by internal disputes and legal threats to derail the conference. He says they expect 1,300 branch delegates to be in attendance.
Even the litigation itself, looking at it and issues that are being raised, chance takers, they are more frivolous as well. They are meant to disrupt.
Secretary General Fikile Mbalula says they will defend the party in court.
So we are ready to prove our case. We believe that everything else that has been presented to us is not factual, but we'll prove that in court.
Once the conference gets underway at the ICC on Friday, Mabuyane is set to lock horns with his former ally, Provincial Secretary Lulama Ngogai Tobi, for the province's top job. Baba Londenza, Eyewitness News.
A senior official at the Tshwane Metro Police Department has detailed before the Matlanga Commission how a service provider abused a security tender, costing the municipality millions of rands. In 2022, the Metro awarded a tender to 22 companies for watchman services, which included guarding critical municipal infrastructure. TMPD's Deputy Chief deployed in the Asset Protection Unit, Rivo Spies, testified before the Commission today on the contentious tender. Tabiso Goba has more.
The Watchman Security Tender is divided into two categories. There's a fixed sum of about 3.5 million rand that is paid to each of the service providers every month. Then there's an ad hoc service where the municipality calls on any of the 22 approved service providers during times of emergency. The fee for the ad hoc service is not fixed. TMPD Deputy Chief Rivo Spies says the ad hoc service has been abused, with a company named Gubis 85 Services being the main benefactor.
It's as if there's favoritism towards Gubis 85 and that someone has deployed and assigned first 37 and then 43 only to Gubis, while there is 22 companies that it could be shared between. But it looks like it's been only assigned to Gubis, the majority of all the work.
Documents before the Matlanga Commission show Gubis earned about 59 million rand from ad hoc services alone, which was the highest among the 22 approved service providers. Tabiso Goba, Eyewitness News.
The co-chair of the Joint Committee on Ethics and Members' Interests says it's up to both houses of Parliament to adopt or ignore its findings against former Higher Education Minister Nobuhle Ngabane. Nobuhle was found to have breached the Ethical Code of Conduct after lying to Parliament about the processes followed when she appointed ANC cadres and allies as chairpersons of SETAs, including the son of Minister Gwede Mantashe. The findings follow a complaint lodged with the committee by Democratic Alliance MP Karabo Khachau. Dimakatso Leshoro has more.
Nobuhle Ngabane was hauled before the Parliamentary Committee on Higher Education and Training, where the committee accused her of arrogance. When quizzed by Parliament about the appointments, she lied and said she was advised by a panel, which was later found to be non-existent after all the so-called panelists distanced themselves from the advisory panel. The probe has found that Ngabane failed to exercise proper oversight in the appointments and has recommended that she be reprimanded by the National Assembly and must apologize for failing to exercise due care in appointing SETA board chairpersons. But co-chair of the Ethics Committee, Hendrik Bretz, says these recommendations are not binding to Parliament and it's up to both houses of Parliament to adopt or ignore these recommendations. Dimakatso Leshoro, Eyewitness News.
The Human Sciences Research Council is concerned by latest data that's revealed some citizens believe politicians are undermining South Africa's democracy. The council has released the latest voter participation survey alongside the Electoral Commission, zooming in on voter sentiment. It was conducted through countrywide face-to-face interviews with people aged 16 years and older. The majority of participants expressed disdain with politicians. Alfara Mashwana has more.
Participants in the Human Sciences Research Council's survey were asked several key questions, including one that required them to rank their confidence in major institutions in South Africa. Religious institutions, the SABC and the South African National Defence Force ranked highest, enjoying strong public support and confidence from citizens. However, politicians were placed at the very bottom of the long list, with most participants expressing the view that they've become synonymous with broken promises. The Council's research director, Dr. Ben Roberts, says voters are clearly dissatisfied.
There is a concern from the public that politicians are undermining democracy. There's a very large gap between the importance attached to politicians listening to citizens and evaluation of politicians' ability to do this.
The study is expected to help both political parties and the IEC to prepare for the upcoming local government elections. Alfa Ramshwana, Eyewitness News, Johannesburg.
And in Sweden, government is proposing a new legislation to make it easier to revoke residency permits for migrants who do not follow rules. The Migration Ministry announced the proposal at a press conference yesterday. According to reports, the government is also proposing that residence permits be revoked in more unrelated situations, such as cases of migrants being considered a threat or if they were discovered to have lied on their applications. If passed by Parliament, the changes will come into effect on the 13th of July. Gold is trading at $4,356.30 an ounce. The rand is at 17.09 to the dollar, 22.85 to the pound, 19.77 to the euro. Brent oil is at $102.58 a barrel.
Equestria, Pretoria expects some delays on Solomon Mahlangu approaching the N14 road report. Bumper traffic heading towards Leratong. This is on Randfontein Road between Miles Stalker and Adcock. And in Bryanston, traffic remains sluggish on the N1 southbound heading towards Four Ways. That's between Rivonia Road and Winnie Mandela Drive.
In your sport, Hugo Bruch confirms Rile Mufokeng's new role as Bafana Bafana playmaker. Banyana to take on Japan in friendlies as part of their WAFCON preparations. And the Proteas look to seal T20 series against New Zealand.
A partly cloudy Wednesday in store for Gauteng tomorrow, with isolated showers and thunder showers expected. Joburg drops to an overnight low of 17 degrees, peaking at 25. Pretoria 18 and 27. Vereeniging 16, also reaching a high of 27 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour, the ANC in the Eastern Cape says it's ready for its provincial conference, Kukumkompo, this weekend, formerly East London, despite what it calls previous disputes over the process.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
702.
Live
on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856.
92.7.
And 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
Eight minutes after 5 o'clock. Welcome back. You are on 702. John is not here. My name is Thabo Sholemashau. We're together till 6. Thanks for joining us, and keep those voice notes coming through on 072 7021 702. The previous hour, at the tail end thereof at least, we touched on scams that have been acceptable and that are somehow justified, commercially so and otherwise, scams that are deemed to be legal, that we can't even challenge. Someone mentioned, very importantly, the airlines, they are happy to bump you off the flight if you are 46 seconds late for a flight. They are happy to say, don't come in. You are making everyone late. We've closed the gates, goodbye. But they can be late. They can delay the flights, and there's nothing you can do about it. You must just take it with a scoop of ice cream and say that's just what life is all about. And we also mentioned hotels, that they charge you so much money, but they still 4 hours of your stay. You check in at 2, you leave at 10 the next day, and they don't care. That's just another legal scam. So keep those coming and send more. We are all saying that, of course, with tongue in cheek. 9 minutes after 5 o'clock. Coming up much later on, we'll look at the Madlanga Commission. Thabiso Goba will join us. And your favorite, a song of the day, a song that John would have played with a specific theme. Brace yourself for it. You're on 702.
702. WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
Hey, 702. I feel like the biggest capitalism scam that we face at the moment is bottled water. I think it's ludicrous that you can buy a 200 milliliter bottle of water that will cost something like 20 Rand in the shop. Whereas a black label quart retails for about 18 Rand at the bottle store, and that takes manufacture and work to get made. It's not just water that you don't have to do anything with. And it's also, a quart is about, 700 mils. It's crazy that you can buy beer for cheaper than water. And also water is obviously a human right. So yeah, I feel like bottled water is the biggest scam that we face as a nation.
Yeah.
So thanks, bye.
Tabo, John here from Randburg. A little pushback on that insurance comment.
Yeah.
The reason why insurance costs so much is because by law, they are required to always make money, because the only way they pay claims is by making money. Thank you. Have a great day.
Hi, Tubble. Sam from the East Rand here. Something that I find a massive scam, especially within the career that I'm in, I'm a teacher, is that teachers are not paid their worth.
Yeah. 100%.
We deal with a hell of a lot more than people realize, and I reckon that teachers in general are underpaid.
Couldn't agree more.
Cheers.
No, I couldn't agree more. You are 100% right. That's the biggest scam. Teacher's salary. Teachers need to be well paid, especially primary school teachers. 100%. It's a biggest scam. And of course, the water one is the winner of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a winner. Water costs more than beer. What is the world coming to? 12 minutes after 5.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by South African Airways. See just how far you can go with them. Book at flysaa.com now. Mr. Karabochali, the roads, how do they look, good sir?
Driving through the Joburg CBD, you can still expect about a 30-minute delay. This is on the M1 southbound from Killarney Bends to the Crown Interchange. Also, driving through Alex, heading towards Bedford View. Traffic heavily backed up. N3 southbound from Marlborough Drive to Van Buren due to a stationary vehicle. Pulls off. Traffic congested on Witkoppen Road between Main Road and Stonehaven. While in Sunning Hill, there's slow-moving traffic. This is on Witkoppen Road between Rivonia Road and Maxwell Drive. There's also slow-moving traffic heading towards Four Ways in the Bryanston area. N1 South from Rivonia Road to Winnie Mandela Drive in Midrand. Expect some delays on the N1 northbound. This is heading towards Centurion between Allendale and Samrand. Santon, traffic pressure heading towards Midrand. M1 northbound from Ethel Oaklands to the Batlu Interchange, while in Roodepoort, bumper-to-bumper traffic on Randfontein Road between Miles Stocker and Adcock. And finally, in Tshwane, Equestria, expect some delays on Solomon Mahlangu. This is approaching the N14. If you come across any other traffic issues, kindly WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
This is what progress sounds like. At South African Airways, we've added more aircraft to the runway, increased our flights from just over 1,000 in 2021 to over 24,000 last year. And we continue to add more destinations and routes. It's steady progress over time. We know there's still work to do, but every day we're building something stronger. An airline that shares the resilience of the country it carries. South African Airways. Book your next flight at flysaa.com today.
Driving the conversation on 702 Afternoon Drive with John Perlman. Powered by Telkom Business. Possible begins here.
Every day I'm hustling. It's a reality as business owners. And it's good to know that there's someone...
We think beyond today, tomorrow, more. Look up, look far ahead. We may choose to leave the herd. There's greener grass where fewer care to tread. Bar Black Sheep, proof of what we do. Better for clients for over 20 years. Courage, we hold the course for you. Baba Black Sheep, if you want more wool, it takes black sheep thinking. Camissa Asset Management. Invest different. Camissa Asset Management is a licensed FSP.
Meet Tato Makate, CMO of Koitech, proving that South African tech can take on the world. Tato, why was telecom business the right call for your team?
Bottom line was connectivity and ensuring that we have the right service provider.
With telecom business fiber, Koitech seamlessly connects local innovations with international manufacturing.
Get Stream Connect Fiber from just 399 Rand per month. Call 10213 or click telcom.co.za. T's and C's apply. Telcom Business. Possible begins here.
Every day I'm hustling. It's our reality as business owners. And it's good to know that there's someone out there who takes care of the business that makes the business. Gotta love My Way Business Insurance. Saving big on premiums with 24/7 emergency services, plus My Business Assist with marketing, legal, and labor advice services.
Visit myway.co.za or dial 0860 64 64 64 and get a quote today. My Way is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's, C's, and standard rates apply. My Way. Live your way.
Let's walk the talk.
702.
16 minutes after 5 o'clock, Tabo in for John. Great having you with us. Welcome. You are on 702. I know you've been following Madlanga Commission very closely, and it could be a little confusing seeing one person speaking on behalf of two entities. And as Thabiso Koba earlier on says, does trouble follow him? Speaking of the man, he's right here, Thabiso Koba from EWN. He joins us to give clarity on Madlanga Commission proceedings. Thabiso, thanks for joining us. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
I was a little bit confused, and I see that the Tshwane Metro Police Department was under the spotlight, but I thought the gentleman, the witness this morning, was someone that I've seen before. Please say more, Thabiso.
Yes, Mr. Rivo Spies. He used to work for the Ekurhuleni Metro Police Department. You remember that he testified at the Madlanga Commission around the corruption there and how he was pushed out. So how he was pushed out at the Ekurhuleni Metro Police Department, he retired actually, and then he ended up being plucked from retirement from the Tshwane Metro Police Department, where he now works. His official position is the Tshwane Deputy Chief of Police, but is under the division called Assets Protection and Security. So that's where he currently works. He's been in that position now for about a year, and unfortunately it does seem that trouble seems to follow Mr. Rivo Spies. So this time he was testifying about what he has uncovered at the Tshwane Metro Police Department and not at the Ekurhuleni Metro Police Department.
I see. And it was about a service provider that abused the security tender, costing the municipality millions of rands.
We know that from the testimony of Sergeant Faninkosi. We remember that Sergeant Faninkosi was in a lot of contact with a number of business people, two, the Tshwane Deputy Police Chief, Mr. Umashi Dlamini, and the Tshwane CFO, Mr. Gareth Mnisi. And a lot of these interactions that he had with these senior officials were around these tenders around the Tshwane municipality. So now we're actually having a clear picture around what these tenders were. So the first tender is a security tender. This tender was advertised around 2016. And there was a number of issues with this tender. There was a period where the tender documents were taken from the supply chain management offices. They were taken to another location, and when they came back, the pages were missing, documents were missing. So the bid evaluation committee says that this tender has to be started afresh because obviously there's an irregularity. And one of the bidders took the committee to court, and there was another second committee that was formed. Again, the same committee says the same thing, that we cannot evaluate this tender based on missing documents, so it has to be started over again. They get sent to court. Eventually the bidders win, and it's about 22 bidders, but 3 companies are of interest. The first one is Triotic Protection Services. We've reported on this company. This company was started by the current Tshwane Deputy Mayor, Mr. Eugene Modise. He says he resigned and he sold the company. However, there was a forensic investigation report that was done, and he couldn't produce that sale of agreement, even though he's publicly said that he sold the company. However, when asked by the people who were doing an investigation on behalf of the city, he didn't have the sale of agreement to prove that he did sell it. And then the other company is Gubis and Ngapesheya. So these are companies that were mentioned by Sergeant Faninkosi during those messages that he was having with those senior officials. And we now see that these companies did get those tenders, and from those tenders, they made a lot of money.
This problem, I mean, does it have to do with those 22 companies that receive tenders for watchman services?
Yes, because watchman services, basically, these are companies that are appointed by the city to guard critical infrastructure for the municipality.
Yes.
And so it's basically, there's like two categories in terms of how this tender works. There's a fixed category where obviously a company will say, we're giving you 37 guards, and the municipality will pay them for those 37 guards. However, as you know, there are situations where, let's just say a power station goes up in fire, or municipal infrastructure is vandalized, whether it's water and whatnot. So those are called ad hoc services. So this is when the municipality, in terms of emergency, goes to a company and say, there's an emergency here and we need your help, and we're going to pay you obviously based on that. What has happened is that the ad hoc service has been abused, and it has been abused by a company called Cubis 85 Solutions. And this company featured prominently in those conversations between Sergeant Faninkosi and those senior Tshwane officials. We don't know who it's actually linked to unofficially. I mean, there are official documents, but what we understand from those messages from Sergeant Faninkosi is that this is a company that might be linked to a very notorious taxi boss here in Gauteng, unofficially, based on his WhatsApps, because a lot of the messages that he was forwarding regarding this company was forwarding it to this taxi boss. We haven't gotten yet, but in terms of that ad hoc service, where in terms of emergencies, and sometimes these were man-made emergencies, that company made a lot of money.
And because it's an emergency, they would be called in, and I suppose the invoice did not have limits as well.
100%, Thabo. And this is the thing that Mr. Rivers Peace says, that it was illogical for one company to benefit from this ad hoc service, because the Tshwane municipality is a vast municipality, and these 22 companies, ideally, they are based across Tshwane. So if one company is based in Soshanguve, if there's an emergency in Soshanguve, then you call that company in Soshanguve. But what was happening is that it didn't matter where the emergency was, whether it was in Soshanguve, Pretoria East, Mamelodi, Cubis 85 Solutions used to get called to all these emergencies, and that's how they ended up making a lot of money from ad hoc services. And in some cases, as we said, it was unjustified.
59 million rand that they benefited. 59
million rand, and this was just from a 1 year period. And remember, they got this tender from 2022, so there's still 2023, 2024, and 2026, 2025 and 2026. So this 59 million is the only money they got from July 2024 to July 2025. But they've had this tender since 2022. So in just 1 year, from ad hoc services alone, they've got 59 million rand. This is in addition, again, remember, there is a fixed sum that they get every month. So the 59 million rand is just ad hoc services alone, and that's the addition to the ad hoc service. So it looks like this company, Cubis 85, which featured prominently in the conversations between senior officials, made a lot of money. And I think, as I said, the Madlanga Commission is taking a 2 weeks recess. It's coming back on the 7th of April. And what we do expect is that they are going to be droning in harder on the Tshwane municipality, and we are going to find out exactly who are these people behind these companies, and are they even linked politically to the Tshwane municipality? Because we have seen at the Ekurhuleni municipality, but we've also seen at the Tshwane municipality that there is some political links to these companies that are making a lot of money from the metro.
And one day, Thabiso, you and your colleagues must, I suppose, gather some courage to name some of the names that are feared to be named.
I mean, listen, if the Hawks bosses and the head of organized crime at SAPS can't name these people, then who am I? I mean,
well, I suppose the day will come. We'll see after the recess of the commission. Thabiso Koba is with EWN. Thanks very much. 24 after 5.
EWN Traffic.
EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now. You could save on car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 rands. Mr. Karabojali, the roads, how do they look, good sir?
Mr. Tabo, at this stage. Equestria, that's in the Pretoria area. Traffic a bit sluggish. This is on Solomon Mahlangu approaching the N14. Still in the Linwood Menlyn area, heading towards Montana. Bumper to bumper traffic. This is on the N1. Actually, expect about an hour delay. This is on the N1 northbound between the R21 Flying Saucer interchange and Sturmfall Road. It's not clear what's causing that delay. So if you are on that route, please let us know. You can WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702. There's also bumper-to-bumper traffic. This is in the Rudeport area on Randfontein Road between Miles Stalker and between Miles Stalker and Adcock. Santon, traffic pressure, M1 northbound from Athol Oaklands all the way to the Patlu interchange, while in Midrand there's slow-moving traffic, N1 north from Allendale to New Road. There's also slow-moving traffic in the Bryanston area on the N1 southbound from Rivonia Road to Winnie Mandela Drive, Sunning Hill. Expect some delays on Witkoppen Road between Rivonia Road and Maxwell. Still in the north of Joburg, pulls off traffic congested on Witkoppen Road between Main Road and Stonehaven. In Alex, there's bumper-to-bumper traffic. This is heading towards Bedford View, N3 southbound from Marlborough Drive to Van Buren, and this is all due to a stationary vehicle. If you come across any other traffic issues, you can also SMS us on 31702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
You know that feeling when your takeaway order arrives earlier than expected? That's how good it feels to see the Outsurance pointsmen on your route. It gives everyone peace of mind knowing the Outsurance pointsmen are on the roads. They've been easing traffic congestion so everyone gets where they need to be quickly and safely for the past 20 years. With Outsurance, you really always get something out in proud partnership with 702. Show them some love online using #PointsmenLove. Licensed insurer and FSP.
The Midday Report.
Weekdays,
12 to 1.
Do you believe that this was in line with your responsibilities on the ad hoc committee?
All I'm saying, you cannot have a minister go live on Facebook. Last week, he also had a press conference. And on this weekend, he says, yeah, Delina se slang sonder gif. I mean, his utterances towards a member of parliament is completely unacceptable at this point. I haven't mentioned Gayton McKenzie in anything. I have probed allegations in the ad hoc committee, and I will continue to do that without fear or favor.
The Midday Report
with Mandy Wiener.
12 to 1 on 702.
702.
Congratulations to the lucky Powerball winner who bagged a mind-blowing jackpot of over 108 million rand on Friday after playing on a banking platform. Play Powerball Plus for an estimated 52 million rand jackpot this Tuesday, and you could make it rain lots of cash this March. Buy your tickets now in store on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app or cell phone banking. Panda Pusha Play. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. Ituba is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
Is your skin itchy, flaky, red or discolored? You may have a fungal skin infection. Turbane treats a variety of fungal skin infections like skin thrush, a red and itchy rash with small pimples, usually in damp skin areas. Ringworm, a ring-shaped, sometimes itchy rash. Athlete's foot, itchy, red, discolored or peeling skin on your feet or toes. And jock itch. Turbane kills skin fungus, and you only need to use the cream once or twice daily for 1 week compared to other 4-week treatments. Ask your pharmacist about Turbane cream and say goodbye to fungal skin infections.
When you train for results, you don't quit halfway. Earn up to 7.35% interest with a Nedbank Just Invest account. Access your money within 24 hours. Keep your money agile. Get money fit with Nedbank. See money differently. Nedbank. For more information, visit nedbank.co.za. We're licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Baba Black Sheep. Have you any wool? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. More than 3 bags full. We think beyond today, tomorrow, more. Look up, look far ahead. We may choose to leave the herd. There's greener grass where fewer care to tread. Baba Black Sheep, proof of what we do. Better for clients for over 20 years. Courage, we hold the course for you. Baba Black Sheep, if you want more wool, it takes black sheep thinking. Commissa Asset Management. Invest different. Commissa Asset Management is a licensed FSP.
EWN Business.
With Mr. Stephen Grootes, and you should have heard him analyze certain questions that I asked him regarding some corporates in South Africa off air. I then asked him he must do markets for dummies on air so that all of us can benefit. Steve, over to you.
Thanks, Tabo. Good afternoon. The market's really looking for direction still. So, I mean, the JSE ending up 0.3%. It was down for most of the day. The Dow Jones just turning positive. It's really all about the war in the Middle East. The gold oil price is still above $100 a barrel. The all share ending the day at 0.31, 110,805 points. Financials on the JSE down 0.14, industrials up 0.11, and resources up 0.91 on the day. What we're seeing really is that markets don't know what to do. There's a bit of corporate news around as well. So the Bytes Technology Group, they're primarily based in the UK. They're down 15% on the day, despite saying that their growth was in line with expectations, that they did have quite a strong second half, and they've got a stronger outlook for the future. Spar and Pick n Pay down by around 3%, which is really talking about what's happening in consumer shares. Pepkor also down 2%, and then Prosus down at 2.28. The Premier Group up 5.5%. They make bread. We're going to eat it no matter what. The Maz Group up 4.5%. That's the property group based primarily in Eastern Europe and Romania. They said today headline earnings per share down by around 22%, but still a very strong outlook from them. Telkom is up 4%, Sasol is up nearly 4%, and Tiger Brands, there's bread, up nearly 4%. Well, and Netcare is up 3.25%. They said today that they've seen demand for mental health care grow by nearly 3%, but they've only seen a very small increase in paid patient days in acute hospitals. We'll talk a little bit about what's happening with medical aids, because Netcare says that they've seen continued pressure in the medical scheme industry. In the US, so still a confusing picture really. The Dow Jones is up 0.14, the Nasdaq is down nearly 0.5%, the S&P 500 is down 0.07. The gold price $4,405.91, platinum $1,898.20, Brent crude $102.73, and the rand to the dollar, well, 16.99 now, to the euro 19.69, to the British pound 22.76. On the Money Show tonight, we'll be talking about foot and mouth disease. We're hoping to speak to John Steenhuisen about the court case. We'll speak to one of the farmers groups as well. It's had such a big impact. We'll be talking about the latest hack. This time it's Liberty. I mean, Tabo, if Liberty can't keep your data safe, it can't be kept safe. You know, this is a well-resourced group. We'll also, of course, be looking at the situation around the fuel prices and electric cars. And then, of course, from 8:30 and 7:30 in Personal Finance tonight, we'll be talking about wills and why you need to do it carefully. You can't just sort of go and do it. All of that to come. Stephen Grootes, EWN Business.
You definitely don't want to miss the Money Show between 6 and 8 with Stephen Grootes. But for now, something that you don't want to miss, EWN headlines with Mongezi Koko. Mongezi, welcome.
That's right, Tabo. A very good afternoon. The Matlanga Commission of Inquiry is going into recess for 2 weeks. The Commission held its last hearing today and will resume on the 7th of April. The Commission began its work in September last year, looking into possible criminal infiltration into the country's law enforcement system. To date, 49 witnesses have testified and it has produced one interim report. The Commission spokesperson, Jeremy Markles.
I think also important for us to say that we are encouraged by the fact that quite a number of people, individuals, are still coming forward with information, providing the Commission with information, and assisting the Commission in achieving its mandate.
With the local government elections fast approaching, a new study reveals that the majority of voters are dissatisfied with the impact of democracy on their lives. This is contained in a new voter participation survey commissioned by the IEC, which measures South Africans' confidence in democracy. In its study, the Human Sciences Research Council has found that the demand for democracy is at a historic low. The latest survey was conducted through face-to-face interviews with citizens aged 16 and older across all provinces in in the country. Alpha Ramashwana has more.
According to data presented by the Human Sciences Research Council, about 68% of South Africans had confidence in democracy in 2004. However, this was the highest recorded figure in the country's democratic history, and the trend line suggests a steady decrease since then. Dr. Ben Roberts, the research director at the HSRC, says the latest survey suggests that while only 17% of voters are satisfied with democracy, a whopping 68% isn't.
There's a significant positive association between satisfaction with the functioning of democracy and satisfaction with the prevailing general economic situation in the country. So economics is part of the reason why the public has become more and more discontent.
The study indicates that the largest drop in confidence in democracy was recorded in KZN and Mpumalanga. Alpha Ramshwana, Eyewitness News, Johannesburg.
Heavy rains are expected to continue across Gauteng, with emergency services in Johannesburg and Ekurhuleni on high alert for possible flooding. This follows heavy rain over the weekend, leaving the ground saturated with an increased risk of flash floods in low-lying areas. The South African Weather Service says more showers and thundershowers are expected well into the week. Joburg EMS spokesperson Robert Moraudzi.
Avoid crossing river streams, monitor young kids to stay away from river streams, and drainage channels. Our motorists are also urged to exercise caution while driving.
Meanwhile, Ekurhuleni emergency services say rivers, streams and dams are already swollen, with strong water currents posing a risk to life. Residents living near floodlines are urged to remain vigilant, while motorists are warned of slippery roads and hidden potholes. Ekurhuleni EMS spokesperson William Ntladi.
Motorists are as well alerted to be extremely cautious and to ensure personal safety, and to other road users as well. They should follow road rules and regulations.
And in France, government has announced some indirect measures to alleviate fuel price increases resulting from the Middle East war. Now, the steps comprise of an easing of some payroll levies, extended deadlines for tax payments, and public loans for some companies. The decisions were made as many countries grapple with the virtual shutdown of the Strait of Hormuz in the Gulf. It's been nearly a month since the US and Israel launched attacks on Iran. This resulted in retaliatory attacks from Iran in the Gulf region, which has affected the movement of fuel supplies. A partly cloudy Wednesday in store for Gauteng tomorrow, with isolated showers and thundershowers expected. Lows of between 16 and 18 degrees and highs of between 25 and 27.
Well, at this stage, driving through mainland Linwood, expect about an hour delay. This is on the N1 northbound between the R21 Flying Saucer interchange and Sturmforum. There's also about a 30-minute delay driving through the Joburg CBD on the M1 southbound from Killarney Bends to the Crown interchange.
The top story in EWN, the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry is going into recess for the next 2 weeks.
Bongani Bingwa, 702 Breakfast.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9.
The 35-year-old woman believed to be a lawyer was gunned point-blank range outside the CCMA at the corner of Fox and Joubert streets. The gunman, witnesses say, simply walked up to her as she stepped out of her vehicle and fired the shots, walked away and disappeared into the crowd. The killers, it would seem, are no longer hiding. What's behind this growing trend of business killings? Mike Bolhase, who's behind it, do you think?
This is a clear, typical hit. It's a consideration, contemplation, planned and executed scenario. This is a deduction case. It's actually an easy case. You will be able to find out who is the instruction giver here.
Bongani Bingwa, 6 to 9.
On 702.
Why argue with your teenage know-it-all when you can feel more in control? Get the Haval H6 from only $6,299 per month with intelligent voice command technology that does not backchat. Perfect. Visit gwm.co.za for T's and C's and to book a test drive. GWM, go with more. Brought to you by GWM Finance, a division of Westbank, an authorized financial services and registered credit provider.
Paying your COJ account made easier with eJoburg. Hi, I'm Tebogo Moraka, the Chief Financial Officer at the City of Johannesburg. Remember, your city services are just a click away. With eJoburg, you can view, pay, and manage your municipal account anytime, anywhere. No more queues, no more lost bills. It's quick, it's safe, it's smart. Visit www.ejoburg.org.za to register today.
Zakes owns an electrical business that lit up the neighborhood. Literally. One small spark, one big legal nightmare. But he has public liability insurance from Budget. The damage was covered and his client sorted. Sharp. To get public liability cover, visit budgetinsurance.co.za. Budget Insurance, official insurer for good South Africans. Budget is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's and C's online.
EWN Sport.
In the sporting world, Tolagele is responsible to update us every now and then, and that is this time right now. Tolagele, what is happening in the sporting world? Good afternoon and welcome again.
Thanks so much, Tabo. Well, Hugo Bruce has confirmed that Relebohile Mofokeng will now be used as a playmaker for Bafana Bafana after saying that the Orlando Pirates man is not a winger. President Yama 2000 has been on the fringes of the national team despite his excellent club form, but will now hope to make the number 10 jersey his own in the two friendlies against Panama and, more importantly, the FIFA World Cup later this year.
I think it's important for him, but it's important for the team, for the club as well. A boy that is scoring a hat-trick, it will give him trust, to give him confidence as well, to see that he can definitely perform at a high level. So it's good for him, it's good for the login for us in terms of goal differences. These 3 goals have to show him that it's not the end. He has to keep working, and maybe some more hat-tricks in the future as well.
Banyana will face Japan in 2 away international matches in June as part of their preparations for the Women's Africa Cup of Nations later this year. WAFCON has been rescheduled to run from the 25th of July to the 16th of August, and South Africa will go up against Burkina Faso, Ivory Coast and Tanzania in the group stages. Switching to cricket, where the Proteas women go in search of a morale-boosting win in their 5th and final T20 against New Zealand tomorrow. The White Ferns have already won the series, and with a 3-match ODI matchup next up, Nadine de Klerk believes that a win will lay down a marker for South Africa.
Although the series is lost, there's so much to play for. The T20 World Cup around the corner, and like you said, obviously taking that momentum into the ODIs, which is also a really big part of our World Cup cycle. So I think we want to rock up, we want to put up a team performance, and like I said, we've been very disappointed with the way we've played. So we really want to take a lot of pride into that ODI series and really show the world and New Zealand what we're made of.
It's a winner-take-all 5th and final game between the men when they meet in Christchurch, with much of the Proteas team made out of players who shone during the SA20. Shukri Conrad believes that New Zealand cricket's decision to start their own domestic T20 league will have long-term benefits for their national team.
It does bridge the gap between domestic cricket and international cricket. We've seen that. But the amount of overseas players that come in, the experience that is then shared amongst our younger boys that haven't been exposed to international cricket. So that when they do make the step up, while the pressures are still there, the bigger crowds that they're accustomed to playing in SA20. And SA20 has been an unqualified success for us. You know, you only need to look at the numbers, the calibre of players. And I'm sure New Zealand are obviously going to have some things that they need to deal with in terms of the timing.
And Daily Capital's batter Ben Duckett has withdrawn from the IPL 4 days before the start of the tournament to focus on his international career with England. That decision could leave him facing a 2-season ban from the league, as under their rules, any player who's picked by a franchise and then makes himself unavailable before the start of the season can be barred from participating in the tournament and player auction for 2 years. Tolagele Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by South African Airways. Get all-inclusive fares, your seat, your meal, and your baggage. It's all in. Book at flysaa.com. Mr. Karabo Charlie, the roads, how do they look?
Yeah, well, if you're driving through mainland, heading towards Linwood, expect more than an hour delay. This is on the N1 northbound from the R21 flying Source Interchange all the way to Sturmville Road in the Joburg CBD. You can still expect about a 30-minute delay on the M1 southbound from Killarney Benz to the Crown Interchange. Driving through Alex, heading towards Bedfordview, there's heavy delays. This is on the N3 southbound from Marlborough Drive to Van Buren due to a stationary vehicle. Poles off, traffic congested on Vilkoppen Road between Main Road and Stonehaven. Bryanston, traffic sluggish on the N1 southbound from Rivonia Road to Winnie Mandela Drive, and in Roodepoort, bumper traffic on Renfontaine Road between Miles Stalker and Adcock. If you come across any other traffic issues, kindly WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
This is what progress sounds like.
At South African Airways, we've added more aircraft to the runway, increased our flights from just over 1,000 in 2021 to over 24,000 last year. And we continue to add more destinations and routes. It's steady progress over time. We know there's still work to do, but every day we're building something stronger. An airline that shares the resilience of the country it carries. South African Airways. Book your next flight at flysaa.com today.
Stay with 702 Afternoon Drive with John Perlman. Brought to you by Telkom Business. Possible begins here.
702 Podcast
on primemediaplus.com.
So if John Perlman was here, he'd mentioned that it's time for that music theme that you so look forward to throughout the show. Not that you don't look forward to other themes and other things in the show. But this one is particularly special because we are going to play a song, a couple of songs with a specific theme in mind. Have you noticed? Could be that you're at a party, it's all nice, the DJ is playing music, or at the soul sessions, you're standing up and you're waving your hands from left to right, and you don't care who's watching. You're moving your body and you're having a beautiful experience. And the next song, the DJ plays something else, and you're like, oh no. And then you just walk off the stage and you go and sit down because this song is not worth the effort. It's just not worth your time. This song gets you off the dance floor. You don't want to hear it. If it were for you, it wouldn't exist anywhere else in the world. What is that song for you? Kabazele is in front of me, so I pulled him out of his office to come and chat to us about that because I think this is a matter of national interest. Are you well, Jonah?
Yeah, thanks, Tubbs. I'm very, very good, thank you.
Yeah. Enjoying golf?
That's such a thing. It happens a lot, right? Where you're in the groove and you're having a good time. And then the DJ just plays a song and you think, what are you thinking? Like, why would you follow
what is that about?
A banger with that song,
yeah,
and then often you'll see maybe a couple of people leave the dance floor.
Yeah,
and I wonder what goes through the DJ's mind. He's like,
what have I done?
Okay, put that on the list for not to play next time.
Yeah.
So the song for me, if I'm there having a good a dance or whatever it may be, and the DJ plays Village People, YMCA.
Bro, that's a good song.
Why? Why do I want to be there on the dance floor? YMCA. So overdone.
That's a good song, man.
No, not even if I've had 6 double brandy and coke. I'm not gonna.
Your poison of
I'm
choice.
not gonna dance to that.
Really?
Song. Yeah, I'll go.
I think it's a good song. It's got a good tune. It's familiar, and the beat is good. That gets you off. Oh no, man, you're too fussy.
No.
Really? So it's YMCA for you?
YMCA Village People. That would be my pick.
This is Jonathan's song that gets him off the stage. Hopefully it will get him out of the studio. Village People YMCA. Does this song get you off the dance floor? As soon as they play it, you think enough is enough. I'd rather go sit down and have a drink. So the question that we are asking you, and please feel free to comment and send your voice notes and tell us about that song. We'll beg Karabo to play the song that gets you off the dance floor, that makes you leave the dance floor, the song that you really don't want to hear when you're out there having a good time. Send your voice notes to 072 702 1702. 11 minutes to 6.
Aubrey Masango.
Weekday evenings,
8 to midnight.
You'll remember that just a few weeks ago with the Eddington primary school situation, there were people that were being provocative, sending and making videos suggesting that South Africa should live under a Nigerian president. And to the credit of some Nigerians living in South Africa who said, but this is wrong. Can't have a situation where you keep provoking South Africans in this way. Because at some level, we do need to think about the fact that there are people who just like to see
Aubrey Masango.
8 to midnight on 702.
702.
With Outsurance, saving on your car insurance feels like arriving at the school reunion in your dream car. 32-year-old Parushka saves a whopping 729 rands on her 2020 Haval H2. Get a quote now, and if Outsurance can save you money, ask for 500 rands or 1,500 rands if you've been claim-free with the same insurer for 3 years. Get savings or cash, SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Outsurance, licensed insurer and FSP. T's and C's and information online.
Elevate your flying experience with Lift Premium. Enjoy even more space, comfort, and convenience with priority boarding, extra baggage allowance, and complimentary lounge access. Visit lift.co.za today.
Need a seat? Try 7 or 5, it's your call. Want a sunroof? Make it a panoramic. Gotta have power? How does award-winning 138 kilowatt sound? The Changan CS75 Pro is big enough for the kids, smart enough for your playlist, and stylish enough for your Friday night too. Why settle when you can have it all without compromise? The Changan CS75 Pro. Drive tomorrow's SUV today. Visit changanmotors.co.za for more.
Changan, driven to evolve.
702 Drive with John Perlman was proudly brought to you by Telkom Business. Possible begins here.
702.
WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
Good afternoon, Tower and team. Like from my side, the song which makes me get off the stage is whenever they play Nkalarata at a work function. What the hell? That song is overplayed. It's overused basically. And also there is Sister Bettina as well, just overplayed.
Yeah.
If they play that, I am off the dance floor. This is Gugu from Northgate.
Wonderful afternoon show, loving it. Well, a song which will break the mood definitely is by Trio, Da Da Da. That song is ridiculous. Anyway, this is Sean from the Springs. Have a good day.
Was ist los mit dir, mein Schatz? Aha. Geht es immer nur bergab? Aha. Geht nur das, was du verstehst? Aha. This is what you got to know. Let you go, it didn't show. Ich lieb dich nicht, du liebst mich nicht. 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 Da, da, da. Da, da, da. Da,
Listen, Sean, I hope it didn't make you switch off to another station. I hope you're still with us. Send a voice note, Sean, to say that you're still tuned in. The point was to play it for you and let other people know that this is a song that makes you leave. The song that makes you leave a dance floor. Let's go straight to your voice notes, 072 702 1702.
Good afternoon to the John Perlman show. The story about the song that puts me off. A song by Tom Jones. Something about Pussycat. Oh, I hate that song. Abram from Pretoria. Thank you.
Dumelang, Thabo. Yeah, Kabazela. Well, the truth is still out. Jerusalem, get me out. I'm tired. Keleboga, Yaboga. Oh, sit.
Jerusalema, ikhaya lami, ilondoloze, uhambe nami, zungangishilana. Jerusalema, ikhaya lami, ilondoloze, uhambe nami, zungangishilana. Dawo yami ayikholana, buso wami awukholana, ilondoloze zuhambe nami.
And very quickly, I've been neglecting the voice, not the voice, but the text messages on 072 702 1702. Neo in Joburg says, I'm tired of the song. Put in Hamba Nawe, Mafikizolo. It used to be a hit. It made weddings, if you know what I mean. And straight to your voice notes just before Stephen Grotes walks in. Quick 2 voice notes.
Hi, Double. Lolly from Pretoria. There's actually 2 songs, and even if it's on the radio, I absolutely cringe. The first one is the Proclaimers, I Will Walk 500 Miles. I don't know why people play it at weddings. And then the second one is Desiree, Life.
Yes.
I absolutely cringe every time I hear that song, and there's words in it about a rabbit foot or something like that, and I just cannot listen to it. Have a good evening. Bye.
Hop Hop Spinnekop. If you play that song after a big jam, I swear, I will not just leave the floor, I will leave the club.
Almal dink ek dans, almal dink ek's goed. Kyk net bietjie mooi uit, mure in sy broek. Agter teen die muur, fyn vliege om top. Vanaand vang hierdie vlieg verrader.
I hope you didn't stop listening. I hope you didn't go to another station. The point was to tell other people which songs you don't like. But it's been fantastic. Stephen Grotes joins you between 6 and 8. I loved spending time with you. Have a good one.
Dans, 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 dans. Hop, hop, Spinnekop. As jy op gaan hierdie party stop.
And now, The Money Show.
With Stephen Grotes, live on 92.7 and 106 FM. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
And DSTV channel 856.
The Money Show with Stephen Grotes is brought to you by Absa Islamic Business Bank, celebrating 20 years of banking rooted in values. Absa is a registered FSP. Good evening. On your Money Show tonight, farmers groups and the Agriculture Minister John Steenhuisen on your radio this evening as they debate about foot and mouth vaccines. A cyber hack hits the Liberty Group. The US and Israeli conflict with Iran sends more ships around our coasts, while sales of electric cars could finally go into overdrive. Also this evening, how to make sure your children actually get what you want them to get in your will. All of that to come, but first, your very latest Eyewitness News.
Good evening, I'm Maki Molapo.